Carolyn, I can see you online again. Is this being recorded now? Okay, now. So Carolyn, we'll start, yeah? With the recordings and stuff is on, yeah? Okay, I can see a recording button on. So yes, Master, thank you so much. Over to you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody, online and offline. Okay, let's start on day 2. Our roadmap for the 2 weeks, we have covered the history of environology. We have covered the binary language, and we have done identification. We have done external, the macro on selection. Let's recap on what we did on day 1. By the end of the session, we did the basic understanding of environology and its history, the binary and how it is being adopted in environology, the understanding of how personal qua is being derived, the understanding and application of qua in selection of a good location, and then a criteria of good location. That's how we did on day 1. And we did give a little bit of homework for everybody. That is to list down of the 64 hexagram and calculate its value. I don't know if you have done it. You can send it online to Min, and we can check on whether you have done it correctly. The 4 steps of environology, we just recap. 1, identification, selection, matching, energizing. For identification, you got to know who you are by the year of birth, by your binary number, by your element. And on the selection, we have the landform selection, the location, and the macro criteria. The matching we'll be doing today, and energizing we'll be doing today. Does the landform actually suit your requirement? Or last week? Possibly I can't hear you. The problem online is we cannot have dialogue as we have in the class. So does the landform suit you? Let's go through the checklist. 1 is the direction, the roads, the tall building around, the water course, the roads or the ponds or the lakes, monsoon drain, the TV substation and the high tension cable or the pylon or transmission tower. And of course, dead tree trunk. Some of them was very gently covered, but later on, if I have time before the tea break, I will cover on the tree trunk, the dead tree trunk, and also the TMB substation and the monsoon drain later. Remind me, please. And then the landform checklist to ensure the property is on embracing side of river, which I covered quite extensively. The question is, if the river is far, then we ensure it's on the embracing side of the road. 3, on ensuring the property is not facing the hill or highland. There is a little word to say that anything 4 inches above the normal land surface is considered a hill. Property should not be at the end of the valley because that one normally is a river. Then the how is, how do we know them? Just basically from the map, and the other one is you drag around. When you go from the map, you can actually, especially on Google, you can go onto the, type in another word, the terrain. The terrain itself will be able to tell you whether you are on, where is the basic height of the mountain and where are the lowland. But this is the pylon we're talking about. You see, when the pylon normally on TMB, they have actual guideline, and normally 150 feet on either side of the road is not allowed to have property. That means it belongs to TMB. The people who are planting, having nursery on the pylon are actually illegal. we are unable to see the effect. But actually, if you don't believe it, you can actually try that when the rain falls, you can actually go under the pylon and sense it. One is this, the water vapor that hit, the drop that hit the pylon form into water vapor, and the hissing sound is very scary. And it carries electromagnetism sort of effect. And then it will tell you that if your house is near a pylon within 150 feet of TMB specification, people like that normally we easily get cancer. They are normally cancer patients. This is one of the property I've seen long time ago. It was actually now become a haunted house. His whole house is on stilts. The only thing that is equal to the road is actually the entrance bridge. And when I visited that house many years ago, her second daughter just passed away. And this is a picture taken that we know that hot air rises and cold air will come in to replace whatever the air rises. That is on the movement of air. But on landform, the landmass is always going from high to low. So therefore, there's two different forces, both as much as unseen. So therefore, when the air comes in, you want the air to come, fresh air to come in through your main door if the property sits on higher land at the back. But if it's on the reverse, meaning to say, if the front is high and the back is low, then the air coming in will be coming through your backside or your back door, and then you go out through your front door. I used to describe this: we don't eat through the asshole, we eat through the mouth. This is what will happen, because once you do a house in that manner, you will then park the car wherever the front is, and the air will come from the arrow, as you can see here. From here, you come from the arrow area, and it come in and come to the back and then go up to the front. If you don't mind that, and you don't mind the family to get sick all the time, you may build a house like that. Unfortunately, a lot of houses in Malaysia are built in that manner. I don't blame the developer, because they're businessmen. They want to make use of every inch of the land. It is you to decide whether you want to buy the house or not. And these are quite common. A lot of developers, unfortunately, they did not know that the road is going to be go direct to their door. In many instances, on the floor plan, on the layout of the property that you wanted to buy, you already have the road being designed there or set there. What happens is when the cars moving from one end to another, by the time they reach a junction, there is a stop to go. The car normally will stop. But the energy that come along with the car, or the drag along by the car, didn't stop yet. You will go in and hammer into the house, unless you keep on closing the house all the time. But if you open it, if there's 50 cars per day that ramp it and stop at the stop to go, your house will be hammered by 50 horses every day. If it is 500, you will have 500 punches. And these are punches that we want the air that come in very smooth, very gentle, and very even, not punches like receiving from Mama Ali. And hence, imagine if you were sitting in the house watching television with the door open, in the nighttime, then the car come by, the spotlight is on. Then when it stop all of a sudden at the traffic light, the car stops. So you every time felt as if the car is coming in to ram into your house, and you have a little psychological effect. 50 times a day, 500 times a day, whatever. So up to here, you possibly would have, I don't know if your house is in one of these conditions, or your friends or neighbors of this condition. If you have any question on this, especially from last week's class. Any question? Or you prefer to ask later? You can prompt women on this, those online. If there isn't, okay. Someone's talking. Okay. So, okay, that is what we covered until the selection of yesterday. Today, we'll go with the step 3, which is matching. I want you to pay a little bit more attention. If you have got to ask for toilet break, please go ahead, because this one is very important. In fact, affect your house very, very directly. So therefore, within the building, we are called it micro criteria. That's it. In the macro, we have covered the mountain and the external. But for the micro, we then covered mainly main entrance door, the space within the house. We will talk about golden rule. We will mention a bit about the corner and edges. We will talk about the height and the clearance. We will then talk about the back door, and we also talk about the beams and the pillars. Now, on this day 1, day 2, we mainly covered the 3 major. Ancient time, we have 3 major, 3 minor. Now our minor is different. 3 major covers the main, the master bedroom, the kitchen. In Chinese, these are 3 main called Men, Zu, Zhao. The minor include the ancient time is the door, the road, the stove, the well. They don't have a water pipe then, toilet and grinder. They used to have to grind their own tofu also. So therefore, the 6 minor for modern, we have changed it a little bit. We changed it. The door is the same, master bedroom is the same, stove is the same, toilet is the same, living room and water course because of your water pipe. So therefore, we start with the main door first. To start off, we must learn how to handle a compass. A lot of people, they are not used to handling compass other than the people, the surveyor who handle the theodolite. But here we don't need the theodolite, we just a normal compass. The compass here I refer to, do not use your handphone compass to read as a compass, because the handphone has got a speaker. The speaker then carries with it with magnet, and hence the compass needle will be affected between 15 to 30%. It varies. Compass in ancient time, well, from the picture, as you can see, the one on the far left, the Chinese call it Sinan. They have little they have the needle or the spoon that they have. It's actually a magnet spoon, and hence, whichever way you spin it, when anyway you spin it, the spoon will then always pointing north and south. And from then, it invented by Zhang Hen, who is he invented basically 5 major inventions in China. One of them is a compass, which sits on the one here with like a carriage. Yes, the little fellow, the little man there, standing there with a pen pointing, always pointing now, pointing south. That's why they call it Zinanzhen, pointing south. Chinese south is always shown as on the south, as if they're pointing at the sky. The little man stand there. This compass was designed for war. It was not meant originally for feng shui or for environology. It was meant for war. During those days, people do not fight with guns and with bombs. They actually fight with the clubs and weapons, and everybody run on the field, horses or human beings. So it's very, very, very dusty. You can't differentiate the enemy north, east, and southwest. So they invented this person with a carriage, pushing a horse riding, and whichever the army have to look at this carriage carefully, depending on where this carriage man or the man standing on top is pointing, and then from then they will be able to differentiate north, east, southwest. And then on the far left, on the bottom one, is actually it become a design. This was not meant for war. It become for inner, actually for game only. And then the one on the bottom, the middle one, is actually a clock. The clock here is showing 24 hours with 12 animal sign, and you can look at the needle, which is a pole. A pole will show the shadow. If the shadows have got no shadow stand on itself, That means midday is 12 o'clock. And of course, this refer is always on China. China's sun is never vertically 12 o'clock noon. It's never on your head. It's always at angle about 30 to 35 degrees in front of you. And of course, in Beijing, that's how it looked like. Even after Guangzhou, you never have the sun facing you vertically on your head. And then the one on the top, that like astrolabe. It is an astrolabe. It was also invented by Zhang He. There's one that's still available in China in a place somewhere in North China. It is still available there. And then of course the one below there is actually an earthquake gadget. It's very, very accurate. You got eight dragon, or their mouth holding with a ball, pearl ball or lead ball or silver ball. Anywhere there's a quake from somewhere, the dragon is activated, the ball will drop out. Wherever the ball drops, they will be able to say which direction from this ball there is a quake, and this is how they do. Some of them you can also still check through Google or in Chinese website. All these are available there, and you can read the explanation. Not moving. Okay. Now come with the handling of a compass. The cheapest compass is actually one of the best, because instead of Duralite, you can go to any shop and buy a 20 ringgit small one. What happened? The compass, they have always have a line. This one is a very high class one because they tell you northeast, southwest. Normal one, there is a needle inside the compass, and the needle itself has got a color. The tip, one of the tip is painted red, English. The one painted red, it tells you the magnet is painted there. If the magnet is painted on the south, the needle will always point to the south. If the magnet is painted on the north, the needle will always pointing towards north. So therefore, on the compass itself, for example, the one on the map here, there's a word S here, south. There's a word there, north, right? 0 degrees to 180 degrees, as you can see. If, in this case, the needle here, the painting is on here, this is supposed to be north. So when the north, on this north, stand on this north, and the south, the needle pointing to the south, then we know that where is north and where is south. Yes, let me give you another example. So therefore, what you do is you take the compass. If it's first to do from outside the house, you walk around. If it is a bungalow, you walk around the area of the garden outside the house and see if the compass it is stationary and it didn't wobble around, don't shiver, and it's very stable. Then we know that the energy within the garden is stable. And what you do is bring the compass near to any wall of the external of the house and poke the compass towards the wall and see where is the north, east, southwest, north, east, southwest of one hall, and you can even point at the other externally. And then from then, you then bring the compass towards the door externally and see if it reads the same at the door and at the wall. Quite often it's not the same. Then once it's not the same, we'll investigate why it is not the same. One of the common reasons is there is a switch box within the house, inside the house. You can't see it from outside. Some of them you can see from outside because the TNT guy got to read the meter. Anywhere near there, because of electric current, the compass will be affected. Then once we know that, when we go into the house later, we want to check whether it is the same. Or if it is different, then we want to investigate why. After that, then you go into the house. What first thing we do is we stand at the main entrance door, stand looking out and looking in from the compass, see again at the door, is the needle stable? Meaning to say, outside and inside is always the same. If it's not the same, because remember, we want to investigate further why it is not the same. Doing environology at Feng Shui is just like a doctor. Once there is sickness there, we want to know what is the problem. Without knowing the problem, how can we give medicine to cure the house? So therefore, we want to find the purpose or the cause of the problem. After having that done, because remember, outside is how many degree north, inside is how many degrees north, jot it down. Then when we go into the house with the same compass, we want to get the center of the house like this. First, you got to identify the center of the house. The center of the house is normally the depth, or the length, and the width, the cross section of the length and width like this. This will be the center. And then what we do is we will then take this compass, stand in the middle of the house, and see where is it. First, it must be the same like what we were doing at the door, the same like what we're doing outside. Once it's done, we will then want to investigate where is the entrance door of this house. For example, on this one, if you stand here, if that is north, then you see this is south. Towards a bit towards southeast, but still within the south quadrant. Now, for beginner, it's a bit difficult because first you have difficulty in finding the center of the. Give me a piece of it. Just a simple way of for you to test is for beginner because from your house floor plan. Yes, you know the width of the house, you know the depth of the house. Yes, what you do is you fold the width into half, fold the depth into half. Can you see my hand the way I fold it? And those online, yes. Then whatever, then you will find a cross line on this paper, which is your house drawing plan, your house layout plan. Then with that, you can then take a compass and place the center. But if you want, for those days without the floor plan, people used to hold the compass and walk around the house. If a Feng Shui master come to your house and take the compass and walk all over the place without standing in the middle, I bet you my last dollar, the guy don't know Feng Shui. He don't know how to handle a compass. But there are also instances that people teach you to say you stand here and look here, look there. You don't have that difficulty. For a beginner, especially this 2 days beginner, when you hold a compass, the compass normally is round, and the stomach is also round. So if you want to hold and put a compass in the stomach and look at the door, it's a bit difficult because you do not get the exact angle. So what I normally recommend is you can get a stool, chair stool, wooden stool. With a wooden stool, you put this compass on the wooden stool. Of course, you draw the course there. And then put this on the wooden stool. Why wooden stool? Because if it's this metal stool, you will then apply a compass again. So when they put it in, remember, at the door, you already know the direction of the house, not like this. You already know the direction. So when you put the compass on the stool, then you will be able to see where is the door. Right. In this case, the door is south, towards southeast, but still in the south quadrant. Any question here? If you make this mistake, you can't see a house. We have our 3 criteria. 1, 2, 3. The door comes first. Yes. Then once you know this, there are 2 items you already know, right? First, you know the binary of the subject. Yes. 2, now you know the binary of the quadrant. We'll come to that shortly. Like this, okay? Now that compass on the left that you see, it is my binary compass. You don't need, up to this stage, you don't need that as yet. You need just an ordinary 20 ringgit compass will do. Yes. But of course, if you can draw transparent like what I've done on this, then you can actually overlap it, superimpose it on your floor plan. Yeah. Then, for example, this one on the right hand side, this is the magic square. From earlier on that map, you see this the arrow is telling you the door is in the south. Then we look at the magic square. The magic square, the south is 101. Right? Okay. Are we clear here? So later on, I will be keep on showing this picture again and again because we want to know where is the bedroom, we want to know where is the kitchen. But now, one by one, we're going to talk about where's the door now. Right? Now, not all houses are square-like. Some houses are rectangular shape. Some houses got funny corners. Some has got uh, one like this one. The south and southeast is actually a void area. Yeah, some has a little protruding here, some protruding there. So how do we know where to get the center of the house? Like this, yeah. That this one, for example, there is a protruding here. There is a little bit of vacuum here, empty space here, empty space here. So we are going to take the widest from here to here. Yeah, from this to there. You saw my arrow from here, which is on the right far on the right hand with the furthest, the widest of the house, and the left, the widest of the left. So that half of this become this line. Yes. And then the one on the southernmost to the one to the northernmost, then you have a cross section to get a center. So the center is not exact all the way visible, but from this, if you were to do the folding like that, and then with the folding like that, yes, you will get the center out easily from your floor plan. You can actually take the whole floor plan and fold it. Yes, like the another house here, you see, all of a sudden you got this area. This area actually is void. You still got to count this because they got to square this up, the whole rectangular. This is the longest and this is the widest. The cross section of the longest and the widest will be the center. Am I clear? Okay. The door, yeah. Got it done? Then we can continue. Okay. Now, after that is done, because remember, we have mentioned that earlier on that when we look into Pua, onto the trigram, we always take the male, take the external, and the male also. The external include up to the main entrance door. Only the main entrance door. Then the lady takes everything inside the house. That's why men buy the house, lady make the home. When they divorce, the lady get the house. Right. Okay. So you don't argue when there's a divorce case, the house belongs to the wife. That's it. So this is a basic principle. You cannot change this. There are cases that people ask to say, I have come across many times. One of them was a very glaring example of a Mexican couple. The wife used to work in Malaysia on Temenggong on the Sarawak Dam, and I was invited to see the house, and I explained to her about the man takes the door, the ladies take the rest. She said, no, cannot. I must take everything. So I said, look, what's wrong with your man take the house? Because men take external, ladies take internal. You take a condo, so there's no garden there, so the house, the door goes to the husband. She said, no, I am older than my husband. I earn more money than my husband. I take care of everything. Why must he take the house? Well, I mean, if that's what you want, I give you the advice, but you insist, then you go ahead. I do the whole house for you. He took the door. 2 years later, they were divorced. I'm not saying that they will guarantee divorce. Sometimes the husband and wife are the same wife. They're okay. So therefore, the rule here is men take the entrance trigram. It must match with the male subject. Only the male subject take the trigram for the door. And all the other major minors must match with the spouse. So the wife will take the balance. If the master of the house and the lady of the house trigram is alike, but not identical, the internal references still based on the spouse. Sometimes the husband is a 010, the wife is 101. Cannot, because the husband says, no, no, no. The bed also, I also want to use my closet. The kitchen also use my closet. No way, we cannot. And there are many instances I walk out because whatever I do, it doesn't work. Not many people dare to walk out because it costs money. I walk out. Anyway, let's continue with this. The ancient design, the main entrance is in front. The modern design, building facing the road, main entrance may not be in the front. In many instances, bungalow houses are like that. Semi-D houses are like that because the main entrance may not be facing the road. So a lot of people say, oh, where the house is facing, the door is facing them. We do not use the word facing for door, main entrance door. We're only talking about which quadrant the main entrance door is situated. Yes, I come back and show you again. It will like this. Okay. We're talking about where is the door? Where is the door situated? Where is the door in which quadrant? We're not talking about where is the house facing. The house can face anywhere, but the door is got, we got one account of main entrance door. We're talking about quadrant of the main entrance door. This is a main door. Yes, of a house. Now, a lot of questions always asked, what about the side door? What about the back door? What about the window? What about the chimney? Aren't they all entrances? Yes, they do. But the question is, do you enter the house through chimney or through window or through side door? You only enter through the main entrance. So therefore, we take the main entrance. It is where the people walk in and out of a door into the house that the energy either bring into the house or take out the house via the people walking in and out. Just like your tomato ketchup. Yeah. You want to bring the ketchup out when it is new, you can poke like crazy, it doesn't come out. You take a chopstick and it come out. You won't be walked through like that. I will show you an example later. You can also come to front and do this. That a little stick can bring up a whole pot of rice. Possible? No, yeah. Later, you come forward, I'll show you. So now after knowing where the door is situated, after knowing the trigram of the door, you can remember day one, we talk about the trigram of the person. When we talk about the door, we only refer to the main subject. And the main subject here is the male. In a house, there may be a child of 1 month old to 80 years old, male. If we're talking about male, if the man, the oldest man is already dead, next one online is a wife, 75, we still go for the 1-year-old boy. Yes, male takes the door, regardless of his age. That one again is no compromise. If we talk about yin and yang, this is what the difference comes in. In Chinese, yang is actually the force. Yong hai hei, yang 是气, yin 是体, yin is physical body. So man being the qi, being the force goes through in and out of the house, not the body. The body only the inducing physical. So therefore, that one, next time when you go further, deeper with us on environology, you will then able to understand more. Here, I only explain up to that. Yes. So then we go back now to who is the subject. Okay, let's say the subject is a 0, 1, 0. Yes. Now the door is 1, 0, 1, which is south, right? Okay. So therefore, you will have 0, 1, 0 join up with 1, 0, 1 because the door is first. The person come later. So the 0, 1, 0 come first, 1, 0, 1 come later. Then it becomes a hexagram. Then we read this house as hexagram now. We go through this exercise. So here we show the 8 trigram, 8 different group, 8 different type of trigram. 8 people, different people. Okay, now, so let's take an example. Man takes external, lady takes the internal. Man by the house, lady makes the home. Man of the house becomes 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is what 1, 1 is all about. Yeah, then we continue. Gives south. And so subject is 0, 1, 0, which is north. Okay. Now the house, the door is 1, 0, 1. So therefore, you will have 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. The house comes first, the door comes first, the subject comes later. So now this house is read as a hexagram of 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. I follow me. I was too fast or not? No? Can I understand up to here? Don't bother about explanation. I will explain later. These are future question, future answer. First, you got to know, identify the person, the subject. Then you got to identify where is the main entrance door. And then how do you link up the two trigrams into one hexagram? Possible? Yes? Yeah. All right. Okay, let's continue from here. Okay. Now, we come back to the magic square again. The magic square here will be repeating, appearing all the time. This is naturally the magic square don't change. Once the magic square comes, the 5 is always in the middle, and the number, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 follow. It will never change until you go to level 3 in feng shui. And level 1, no, it doesn't change. Then using that on the superimpose on the house floor plan. For example, this one, we change it a little bit. You see now we look at the arrow. Where is the arrow now? The arrow is on northeast southwest. Can follow. You see, you can see these 2 dots with the needle. These 2 dots and the needle. The 2 dots here is north. The needle here is south. So therefore, this door here, main entrance door for this house is actually on the northwest. Yes? Can you follow? On the needle here, this is north. Yes? This is northwest. Yeah, this is west. Okay? This is northwest. Northwest is 1, 1, 1. You can see the number there. Okay? Okay. So therefore, this again, just now remember we were talking about the door now is northwest. The subject is the same. Subject is same person, 0, 1, 0. But because the door is 1, 1, 1, so therefore it's considered not advisable. Why? Because you got 1, 1, 1 dot 0, 1, 0 like this. So 1, 1, 1, and then the subject is 0, 1, 0 to follow suit. Yes. Oh, kitchen, sorry. Kitchen, I made a mistake. No, earlier on this one. Okay. Now this on come back to the same magic, the same first house that we show. The door is on 1, 1, 0, 1. The subject is 0, 1, 0. Where is the kitchen? The kitchen is here, 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 here. All right. See the kitchen there? This is the kitchen. This is the door. This is the kitchen. The kitchen is a 1, 1, 1. Yes. This bedroom is a 0, 0, 0, 1. See that? The hall is a 1, 0, 0. Yes. And this another area here, living area, 1, 1, 0. So once you divide that, you superimpose it, draw yourself a magic square. You will be able to see which part of the house, which quadrant of the house belong to what trigram. And going to pass. So the kitchen now is 1, 1, 1. The other choices, remember earlier on the day 1, when we talk about a particular person, what are his choices? Let me go back to this. Possibly you will be able, okay. 0, 1, 0. Yes, on here, this one here. One more. Yeah. 0, 1, 0. The 0, 1, 0, remember, this is advancement, right? This is what? This is health, this is wealth, and this is harmony. Correct. Remember the day 1 we did that? So therefore, in this 010, his door now is here. Ah, his door is in the south, correct? Now, then what if his kitchen happened to be northwest? The northwest is a blank. Actually, it's not a blank. These are the bad area. Why didn't I give you all the bad area first? No. You have problem. You remember the good. The bad one will not going to scare you. Not even on the second day. It's on level 1. We will explain that. Sorry, up to here, you got to bear with me. My mind running faster than what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so therefore, the subject is 010. If you take this alone, this map alone, this diagram alone, you want to have the door in any of these 4 colored area. We mentioned that earlier. Even if it's a kitchen, we want to be in any one of the 4 colored area. You want the bedroom also in any one of the 4 colored area. Now, he got a best door now, which is harmony. Now, the house is already, he bought it like that. So he got no choice. So you got to see where the kitchen. For him, if his wife is also 010, then the kitchen is wrong. But if we refer to his wife as a reference, maybe the kitchen is right, but we don't know yet. Now we don't know his wife yet. We don't know him. We're pointing 010. Do you follow me up to here? Everybody. Question? Those online? Any question? Have I confused you? If I do, I apologize. I'll do it again. Online? Anybody have any question on this? No? Okay. All right. Okay. Who's talking? I don't know who's talking. Okay. No. Oh. Done. What we can do is during break time we can ask again. Okay, let's go. So we go back to here. We go back to this person. So therefore, in this case, the kitchen location 111 is not advisable. Yes. So the other choices is the kitchen can go onto the east sector here or southeast sector, whichever, or include the north if you want to. Certainly not for 111. Okay. Now location of the master bedroom. Now we got to think about lady of the house. We don't know yet. So therefore, the Western group is the kitchen, the bedroom suitable? In this case, we don't know unless we know if the lady of the house is West group. Yes. If it's Eastern group, then no. Because the main subject, this person, is already a 010, which is Eastern group. Okay. So 010, go back again, repeat. How many north, wealth in southeast, health in east, and advancement in the north, and harmony is in south. Okay. Now, again, come back together. If we join up the trigram to hexagram, the door now is 101. The subject is 010. So therefore, it's harmony. If the door is in 011, the subject is 010, he get wealth. If the door is in the east 100, if the subject is 010, then you get health. And if the door is in 010 and the subject is 010, then you get advancement. The same thing like this, yes. Only difference is I plot on from trigram to hexagram using the subject as reference if the door changes. So from the hexagram, we can also derive many information. Events that may happen in your years to come and when they will happen and how to mitigate. From this hexagram, we will be able to know. But of course, not in this class yet. Won't even know. Okay. So learning environology You want to know more about this person, a 010. If he get a 101010, he got how many house already? Then from there, you want to know how long he will enjoy his harmony and what will happen then after that period of enjoyment, things like that. What if the door happened to be a 011? What will happen? And things like that. A lot of information can be derived from here. Okay, from here, we come back to this diagram again, and then we give a different example. For example, what if the subject is a 001 with a 8? Remember? If you remember that, if it's a 8001, then we again apply zero using this as an example. Yes, 101 overlapping with 001, or 011 overlapping with 001, and 100 overlapping with 1001. So every one of the 9 magic square will then overlapping on this particular subject. Every quadrant carries a trigram, and this trigram will be comparing different trigram. How does this trigram affect this particular person in this? That's not with 010. Now with 001. The same thing will apply if the subject is a different person. The 9 magic square, the trigram will not change. So the trigram take precedence, the subject follow suit. Yes, okay. Take a picture of this and you want when we ask question again. All right. Now the example again. If it is 010, we did just now, you also do the same thing. If the door, if it's the door is 101, this is what you can do. If 011, this is what you do. And all the 9 magic square will take 010 as the subject compared to all the 010 subject compared with all the other 9 quadrants. Then after you do that, you will then put in the number of 010, 101, 101, 1010. What is the number? And all the 64 hexagrams that we did last week for the homework applies here. You start working on this now. Remember you did homework? If you have done it. If you have not done it, you got plenty of work today. So then from 0 number to 63 in value, everyone carries a meaning. Once you know all this number in meaning like that in the fingertip, then you already halfway done your environology step 3 matching. Yes. Okay, let's continue. Okay, the same thing apply to if the subject is 111. 111, you still use the same thing with all the 9 sectors. For example, you will have the door. We didn't change the door yet. 101, 111, 011, 111, and ditto, the same thing. So you can have eight group of the subject compared to 9 different hexagrams, 9 different quadrants. So end up you have a total of 64 hexagrams in your environology matching. To memorize them a bit difficult, so therefore you got to do the homework first, and from the homework, plot down the number. After plotting down the number, divide them into a group. Your homework is already having 8 groups already. You may not realize. The homework given to you was planned to let you have 8 groups. 8 times 8 is 64 hexagram. Yeah? Okay? Same thing, if it's a 100, the same hexagram plotted, and then you got to fill in the blank of what number every hexagram carries. All right? Now from here, what the help of with help LPS, the life profiling system, then one will be able to know the detail of the subject and the family in greater detail, their ups and downs, and mitigate them. Mitigate the environology and the dwelling place, which we don't cover in the day 1, day 2 class. But just a teaser to tell you it go to that far. You can, if you want to learn. Okay. Now let's do it again on the trigram and the representation that you learned on the first day. One is 0, 0, 0, which is a yin, and by element is earth, and by family member is mother or elderly woman. You have got that day 1, remember? Now for you, as I propose that you have a little folder, clear folder, and every page of this slot into the folder. So you don't need to keep on tearing the paper up, yeah? You just flip, like a short dictionary in your own homework, yeah? This is 4 of them, another 4. I don't want to spend too much of time on this. We did it on the day 1 already. Okay, now we come back to the subject, okay? For example, 1, 0, 0. Now we use the 1, 0, 0 as an example, the same thing that we apply. Now I give you extra magic square and plot down there. You see, these numbers are the same. 618, 618, the trigram are the same, all the other same, except I give you the yin and yang to show you the difference, yes? You see the difference there with the plus is yang, minus is yin. Okay, you see that? So every new chart coming will give you some additional information. So therefore, remember our northwest is always been 111 is a father. So the father is a young. 010 is the youngest son. Is also a boy, so it's also a plus. So therefore, it's also young. Yes, 001 is also young. 110 is yin. 100 is yang. The others. And I'm only repeating for you. Yes. Only thing is you have it earlier. I just add on the information on the page for you. I'm going to keep adding. Okay. This apply to 100. You see, this one I didn't give you the family member. This I give you a family member. Okay. You already got that for day 1, yeah? Only thing I now plot it onto the quadrant for you. Okay. Now with that, you remember we got a 5 element in our environology or in Chinese. The only difference between Western and Eastern is Chinese has got a item called metal. Western have it as either, and they do not have a metal as their element. They also have 5 elements. Basically, they got 4. Okay, now I'll take a break here for question first, and then he's going to that's very, very heavy later. We'll continue from here. Any question up to here? The extra break for question. Online, any question we can ask now?
Hi, Master Ko.
Yes.
I'm Monica from Singapore.
Yes.
I'd like to ask you the favorite quadrant. Let's say that you already bought your house and then the main door is not your favorable. So what do you do? And then also another question is every year the energy changes, right?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so what do you do? How do you mitigate?
I didn't get the name again.
Monica.
Monica, first, this question is a future question. You got to follow the class. You answer this future question, the rest don't understand you. Yeah, because
okay. Because okay, just now you were saying the favorable direction, you see.
Right. Okay. Now you have an unfavorable door. Am I right?
Yes.
You're asking the unfavorable door. I told you earlier on for unfavorable door in these 2 day, on 2 Saturday, we won't cover. But for your curiosity, let me just briefly tell you this. Okay, there are three things you can do. One is buy another house. Number one, because you do not know feng shui, so therefore you don't know how to mitigate. So you got to shift. Two is you may have got to suffer for 6 or 9 years to come after you shift in. If you are willing to suffer the 6 to 9 years, waiting for the right energy for you to mitigate, then suffer lah. If not, shift.
Wow. Okay.
You rent a house, very easy shift lah. If you bought the house, I normally advise this: buy another house. This house, keep it, but you rent it out. So you enjoy your rental, but you don't stay there. Buy a house that the door is good for you, favorable door for you. But in this case, not for you, for your spouse.
So the should match the breadwinner, right?
Yes. No, not the breadwinner can be the wife. I'm talking about the male subject of the house.
Okay. 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 Wow. Shift house.
Well, that is the best way out. Best way out, or else you got to prepare to suffer for a while. And the while is minimum 6 years. It can be 12, can be 9.
Okay. How come you pick 6 or 9 years? I thought it's a
because of the trigram.
Oh, okay.
The trigram says so, and the practical history says so.
Okay. Not the yearly. Not the yearly.
Some waited for 19 years.
Wow, 19 years.
Yes. Are you willing to suffer that? I wouldn't recommend.
Oh, okay.
But of course, if you have a semi-D house, you got a bungalow house, you can open another door anywhere else. But the trouble is, if you have a condo, you can't open the window, can you?
Correct.
So that's a problem.
Okay.
Maybe exchange with a guy, your neighbor or your opposite you. Yeah. You know, I've done that. I mean, weighing the pros and cons. You're not willing to suffer 6 years or 9 years, because by the time you finish off suffering the 6 or 9 years, you may not have enough money to buy another house already.
Correct.
Yeah. Why want to suffer that? What choice is that? No, not a choice.
Then how about the yearly?
No, wait. When the door is wrong, the yearly one come much later.
Oh,
The yearly, some Taisha doesn't cure that. Doesn't cure a wrong door.
Wow. So the main door is so important, yeah.
No, so important. Very, very. When that is wrong, yeah,
Okay. Thanks for your answer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Which question? Yes. Yes. If there's 3 walls in the car park, then it is considered missing. If there is no 3 walls, then it is not missing. It's outside the house already. This is one example we have had earlier on. What's the name? Okay. So can you look at follow the diagram on the right? Is she online with us on this? Okay. Look, this is considered a empty space, unless you have another wall here all the way here. Then you got 1 wall, 2 wall, 3 wall, and this considered the space. But there's no more wall here, so therefore it's not a space. It's an empty outside. It's outside the house already. But when we draw the magic square, we include that inside the house, but it's not a space of the house, because we are taking the deepest and the widest to find the center of the house.
Okay,
but
Master
that
David.
space is not in the house.
Master David.
Yes.
That means to say, if there is 3 walls there, then
Yes.
it would not be considered as a missing sector already, right?
It's not missing. It is one part of the house.
Okay, understood. Thank you very much.
Only thing, you see, a lot of people, is it two space is just is outside the house. Two space like this. The two wall is considered outside the house. Three space is considered the garage. A three wall is considered the garage.
Okay. Okay.
All
That
right.
means if there's a tree, if it's a three walls and then there's a roof covering it, then we would not consider that as a missing sector.
Correct. Yes.
Okay,
It is
understood.
within the house, part and
Okay.
parcel of the house.
Understood. Thank you very much, Master.
Welcome. Any more questions? Okay. Oh, now the toilet break.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. We're gonna have about 15 minutes. Let's make it 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes break from now. We're gonna come back 15, 20, 80 minutes break actually. All right. If you have further questions and stuff, please feel free to ping me or stop us. Today's class is very interesting with a lot more discussion, right? So take a break. Freshen up a little, and if you have any more questions and stuff, please feel free to let us know. I'll come back shortly. 3:20. Thank you so much.
Something like that. Can they see me? And there are online people there. Can see. All right, everybody. Would you want to believe that this chopstick will be able to hold this? You can come around here. Come around here and you can test yourself. Not a Sifu, but extra magic power. I don't have any magic power. I'm just a normal person. Don't cover this camera on me. Long ago, when I was 5-6 years old, my grandmother, she also buy 4D. What happened was she used the mark of this teapot condensed milk anti mark, and she would have a mark of rice. This is rice, yeah. And she take a lidi, in the lidi, this coconut thing people do satay. She used that and poke into the pot of rice. And if she can hold it up, she would then pray to the god, the rice god, and then she would buy number. Yeah. And if you poke, the lady cannot hold the rice up, then she won't buy number. To her, she believed that the rice has got God. So once in a while it came up. So I was watching from the back. I was very amazed. What fantastic. Then sometimes she was not around. So I quietly take the pot, put the rice. I also poke. But once in a blue moon it came up, no? So I was scared the shit out of me. I ran fast away. I thought this ghost of God is chasing after me. But anyway, my grandmother have never struck $1 in 40. But that memory of my 5 years old that I poke, the rice follow this stick up into my mind until 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It doesn't make science, no logic. This rice is not metal, it's made of bamboo. This is glass. No conduct electricity. The rice is dry, also don't conduct electricity. Would you believe that this poke in the rice will come up? The whole pot will come up? Believe? Anyone of you believe? One rice or all the rice? No. I'm the whole pot will come up. The whole Nescafe will come up. Don't believe, right? Let's try. Is that enough to prove to you that it come up? Not rice, huh? Yeah. What do I do on this? Bigger and more.
What you say just now, okay, it's that is your grandmother. I saw my mom did.
Yeah, they do it in the toilet, they do it in the kitchen. Yeah.
They use the thing.
They got no science behind them. There's no science behind them. They never study science. So of course to them it's ghosts and God is the most important spirit in their life. Huh? No, you will. I'll tell you the trick behind this. not a while. So long as my hand don't shake, you will not lose it. Anyway, there is a little reason behind it. I'll tell you the reason behind it. In science, it's called there's nothing to do with that. There's some people's hand, sometimes your hand holding somebody's hand, you touch this. All of you can do a little trick here and go back and show your friend and say, this is something that you have seen the magic happen take place. And actually, it's called Casimir effect. After the person called Casimir, I'll show you the reason behind it. I changed it to this one because it's easier. Why? Because lighter. But it doesn't matter whether light or heavy. I've taken up a pot that high in that size. Because this has got to be longer. No, the smallest a lily can, or this size in a lily can. No, the lily will break. Not that it cannot. That is the reason. Give me some rice. I need a bit more. For you to do. Because anybody want to give it a try? No ghost, no spirit here. Don't need to do fast, just coming. Yeah, okay. It's not difficult. There are little trick in here. You do first, I'll tell you what is the trick inside here. The better you are in science, the more puzzle you will be. The people who know nothing about science, they believe in ghosts and God. Easier. Because they believe.
Actually, Master
Oh,
Ko,
yes.
actually it's like you're poking the rice, it sort of compact the rice inside.
No, not necessarily. It's not that. The effect is not that.
Oh,
No,
the air all come out and then it will like
no,
sort
there's
of.
no air. This rice thing, because you must understand that the rice here has got nothing to do with the compaction, because in between rice there is space. You know, in between the rice is there space, and this space in the Casimir effect. That's what you explained. If there's totally no space, like you put water, it doesn't work. It must be grain. Sand must be dry. If it is grain, it must be paddy, like beans. Beans must be at least it must be green. If yellow, this yellow bean cannot. Red bean cannot. Green peas, yes. It must be dry, because in the Casimir effect there is some effect on the in between rice. There's space. What bites onto this wood here is not the whole, or not all the rice. The maximum you're having is 20 grains, 10, 30 grains, that's all, of rice. The rest of the rice doesn't bite onto the wood. Yeah. The cute part is, if you have a pot like this or any size, it must be follow certain principle. Principle number one, it must be golden rule principle. Meaning to say this opening and this length must be at least 1/3 to 2/3. Anything bigger than that doesn't work. 2, the mouse here must be slightly smaller than the rest. If this is like that, it doesn't work. You can poke until the cow comes home. Doesn't. The condensed milk, because after you open the condensed milk, the brim of the condensed milk is slightly smaller than the whole pot. So that's why my grandmother struggled ahead. Now this one, because of the weight, but this one, because it's still the mouse here is smaller than this. So therefore, after one or two poke, the Casimir effect works on it. I'll show you the Casimir effect later. So therefore, I was trying to find the logic behind this. See, when we have a house, what is in the house we can't see. We're talking about air, we're talking about molecules, we're talking about atoms. But the person moving, you yourself has got static electricity in your body, human being. Not that the rice don't have, they have. The static force here is like electricity in they affect onto the rice to bite. I like to use this when there's totally no sticker. You can see the transparency. And if I were to poke it, you see, after so long, I can poke it to the side and I put it up, you can actually see, I can't see, you can see how many grains actually bite onto it. Not many grains. So it is not that it defies science, it's because our knowledge of science is insufficient to explain. Not that it's not science, it is very, very scientific. So when I search and search, Casimir tried on 2 plates, need not of any ferrous metal, plastic, glass, copper, bronze, anything else. The 2 plates, just like these 2 plates stick together, yes. But you must give a little space like sheet of paper space in between. It must have space. If it is totally stuck together, then there's no space. Then nothing can pull out because you can't nothing can put in, nothing can come out. So what he put was he put another sheet of material, plastic or paper, so long as it's non-electricity. The whole 2 plate. The picture that shown was this plate, plastic plate. And 2 are transparent. You put it just pull out like that with a piece of paper. Then he explained it is what you call the static force with, he called it Casimir effect, not the India place Casimir. His Casimir is different spelling. I show you the spelling. That gives me the explanation of why we're talking about the door. We walk in and out, walk in and out. How did we bring the energy into the house? As we bring in the energy, also pull us out. We go in here, also come out. But the more the people that walks in and out, the more the energy that it brings in. Make sense? It makes sense, right? Now, what happened is, if just now I explained, if it is only a garage space, only 2 walls, now it doesn't work because you don't have anything to hold it. So the house needs to have minimum 3 walls with a roof. Then the energy will not be leaked out. Of course, later on when we cover the golden rule, you understand even better. We need that golden rule to the house to make your house positive or negatively charged forces in the house. So next time you buy a house, next time you do design of the house, make sure you understand golden rule. Golden rule itself is green. Nothing better than green. You having golden rule principle. But nothing better than the energy, the air that go into the house, it circulates all over the house and the house is properly charged without external interference of electricity, without like you use a plant green, these are that. No, you don't need at all. Nature itself supply us all the material for us to do. Is whether we know or we don't. So this is an example that you can carry up to anywhere you like. The only difference is you don't shake it. Once you shake, then you loosen up the grip That's all. But today my hand is not stable somehow. Okay. Well, for you, for those online, you can do this and play fun with your. If you have any children, show them a little bit about the sciences for them to inform, to learn. All right. So let's go back to the class and the few grain here. Okay, not share. Yeah. Okay. Done. Okay. Okay, everybody back online? All of you here? Huh? All right. So any question more than this, we'll ask up when this and when this second part finish. We can have more questions. Let me go backward. Oh, the classroom all here, right? Okay. I want to bring back somebody asked to ask a question. I want to bring back a question. Right? Okay. Someone asked a question. I was waiting since the other day. This class is very, very brilliant, very inquisitive. That's why the question was asked. Two of them asked this one. The gentleman asked the same question, Serena asked the same question on the magic square. You see, on the binary, we got 0 to 7. There are only either 3 0 or 3 1s. Yeah. But when you go to the magic square, apparently the number and the binary doesn't tally. Nobody asked question, right? Online, did you notice that on the screen now? You see, originally we say 0 0 0 is equal to 0, yes, and we say 1 1 1 is equal to 7. Correct? Am I right? Yes. Okay. Now you look at the magic square on my right, on the right of the screen. You see, 1 1 1 is a 6. 0 0 0 is a 2. You saw that? Why was that so? The one on the binary is a value that we use. The one on the magic square is the application of environology. Why the difference so great? The one on the binary is on linear, on one page. The one on the magic square is three-dimensional. When you do a three-dimensional on the magic square, then how many cubes have you had? It's 27 cubes. Yes? It's not 9 cubes. Huh? You know, can you draw a three-dimensional magic square? A cube, 3 by 3. How many cubes we have? One face is 9 cubes. Yes, 3 times. So 37 cubes. Correct. So once you do 37 cubes, the number then change because this is the that's what we say that binary is we incorporate, we adopt binary for our usage. We cannot use that for DNA. We cannot use that for others. We only use it for environology. We use it only for I Ching's magic square. Okay. When here you can see I actually put the plus and minus. See the plus and minus there on this one, the positive and negative. On this 9 magic square, there are 4 positive and there are 4 negative. Can you see that? Yes. You see the 4 negative are 2, 9, 4, and 7. You see that? That 3 are all minus sign because they are all female. You saw that? Can you? This is female, 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 female. Yes. The other one is male, 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 male. The center one change. There is only one that can be male, can be female. Right? So therefore, if you draw a line, like this one, so 6, you draw up to 1, to the middle of 1, then you go down to the middle of the center cube, and then you move to the 3, and then come down, from here, come down again, and then you have half, the top half are positive, male. The other 4 are negative, are female. So therefore, when in a cubical magic square, there are half of them are positive, half of them are negative. But when you put them into binary itself, it doesn't work like that, because it's on one single page. It's a linear thing. It's not a cubical thing. So therefore, when we look into the house, when we do a binary in the house, we got to follow the 3-dimensional of the house. Can we follow that? Because the house is 3-dimensional. The house space is not one page. It's a 3-dimensional space. So when you want to apply the magic square into a house space, especially when they do it on golden rule, you have got to apply it with cubicles in a cubical manner. As a result, the binary follow. Yes, anything that is male, you have got to -1 in value. Anything with negative, you got a +1 in value. Okay. 6 is positive, right? If you +1, if you might originally in binary is a 7. Remember? 111 was a 7. You -1 when it comes to cubical, it becomes 6. 010, the value in binary is 2. Now -1 becomes 1. Yes. 100 is a 4. Now -1 becomes a 3. Yes. So therefore 6, 1, and 3 all -1. The other side on 011 originally 3, because the female is +1, so therefore they become 4. 7 was originally a 6, so it's become a 4. The only difference is 9, 2, and 8. But once you go beyond the number, beyond 7, you got to draw 4 lines. When it comes to 4 lines, the binary calculation will change. So therefore, 0, 0, 0, if you want to minus it further, there's nothing, you cannot have a negative sign. So therefore, you went on to 4 lines and then minus off, so it becomes 2. This is a binary formulation. Yes, the same thing go to 8, because originally that one was the 8 was equal to 1, 0, 0, 0. Right. But originally it's a 1. With a 1, if you -1, what do you get? You see that the funny thing about binary is binary in its formula has got a flaw. binary in the formulation on the 2 square with the square root is because there is no binary has got no negative value. You can check internet and see negative. That it doesn't. Only in our magic square in I Ching we have negative value. Chinese ling is not zero. It's not nothing. Chinese ling is ling sing sing ling sing sing got a little bit. No nothing. That's the difference. So therefore, when we adopt binary as our I Ching, as our magic square, we also went through a lot of problems. I went through a lot of trouble to understand, oh, there is a different formula because a different formulation because we do not have a negative value in binary from right in from 0007, 000 to 111. Because 000 minus 1 more, where to go? You cannot have a 000 cannot, because there is no such binary available. Formula you must know. Go for the next class. I'm not here trying to teach you math, but there is a formulation. So now, for our application, we got to use this application now. The one on your right, this application that we have here on the right here, this application we have for our magic square. So therefore, as a result, a 111 originally a 7 now becomes 6. His harmony becomes a 000, which is originally 0. Binary originally value of 000 is 0. Now become a 2. So when we talk about the how many wells, health, whatnot, we got to follow back our binary value. But we apply it on magic square, you got to take this magic square you have on the right of the screen as the reference. You cannot use the original binary single page value. You got to use a cubical value. All right? Up to this point, the answer is given. I don't want to explain further on the maths. But if you can find the maths for me, fantastic. This is the first class I ever have the formula for me.
Master Ko, can you explain the 001 again? The 8 there.
001 originally was 1 in binary value.
Okay.
Yes, but because you got the minus 1, because it's on the male side, you got the minus 1. When you minus 1, how do you write the binary?
0 already.
You cannot, because you cannot minus anymore. You got my 0, then it becomes a 000. So therefore, a total different formula have got to be created. And let me give you a little trick. I discussed this with Professor Naidu, the chair of mathematics in Cambridge. And I gave him my formula. And he said this, David, you are right, but you cannot publish this. The whole world against you. We don't have negative binary in writing. So therefore, answer of this is given. I don't want to explain any further, or else we turn this class into binary mathematics class. Another 2 hours, you cannot do it. But anyway, no harm for you to keep on digesting and come up with the answer. I loved it. That if you can break the answer like I broke it before, 15 years ago. All right. So up to now, given the magic square, the diagram, the hexagram is given. That's it. Okay. When you go up to stage 2 of Feng Shui class, I'll give you the answer. Done? Anything more than that, it's a further question again, like just not a question. All right. After the break. Okay, now we come back to the second part of the. Okay.
I might come back with this. You try.
All right. We are now still in the micro. Okay. The voice here.
Sorry.
You got to mute me.
Sorry.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Okay. No sound. Okay. We are still on the micro of the internal house. Though as much as we are going from matching towards energizing, it's still matching. Among the internal of the house, one of the important things is what we call the golden rule proportion. The golden rule proportion derived from the Nautilus snake, the one on my left, on your left. It is actually, if we take AB together, B is 1/3 of the whole thing, and A is 2/3 of the whole line. This is how we go. So A plus B is equal to A as A is to B. Yes. So therefore, you see the diagram. You can do it three-dimensionally again. It is magic square. You got to do this Nautilus in the three-dimensional manner, like the Nautilus that we have is in three-dimensional. So when you do the line in a house as a single straight line, then we can be far off. But we need it to be three-dimensional. You follow me now? Everybody? Yes? Can I proceed? In the class, you all understand here, right? Okay. You see, in these 2 Saturday class, a lot of things are given. Answer are given. You cannot. Once you are known, you want to find out why. Then you end up like me. Why for the last 30 years to reach where I am now. I wasn't happy when the science cannot give me the answer just like that. We want to know to the end of the root of the question. Why like that? We cannot say given. You must give me an answer. But on these 2 Saturdays, unfortunately, I cannot give you all the answers. But if you follow me through it next time, I promise you, I will give you all the answers. I for one, I never take down given answer and say you don't know. If you don't know, you don't teach. All right, let's continue. This is called golden rule proportion. In the golden rule proportion, hello, why again? Okay. But Fibonacci theory, it started from Euclid. He started in a mathematical way to find out why there is such an equation. And then from there, you went to Pythagoras. We started with a pi. And then from there, you go to Leonardo da Vinci. And then it eventually went to Fibonacci, who came up with all the example and the theory and all the mathematical equation. And hence, it is named after Fibonacci, called Fibonacci theory. It applied to mathematics, to geometry, it applied architecture, and is now named as Fibonacci theory. And the equation is 1 plus square root of 5 divided by 2 is equal to 1.6180, blah, 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 unending. And you can also do the other way around, and this is the answer that I give. But somehow or rather, if you were to follow, is he the first person? Unfortunately, he wasn't. I Ching, some 4,000 years ago, already found this out. Because in I Ching, Chun Gua is human being, Ju Gua is the whole universe. So therefore, 34 divided by 55 is equal to 0.6181818181818 to eternity. Or you can do the other way around, 55 divided by 34, you become 1.618181818. This is done in I Ching mathematics. Yeah. So therefore, I Ching's golden rule is like that, and Fibonacci golden rule is like that. So therefore, the answer is very clear. You can use either one. Of course, nobody like pi, nobody goes to eternity, but you can actually do it up to 3 decimal up to 618 is more than enough. Okay. Well, let's have a look in human perspective, whether Fibonacci golden rule proportion apply to human being. Let's see. You take this picture, for example. Yeah, this hand, I got to stand up to show you this. Human beings are such that we are actually God given as a golden rule person. Yeah, look at that. If you take this palm from the palm to the end of the fingertip, if this is 1, then this is 2/3, that is 1/3. Yeah, this is 1, this is 2/3, that's 1/3. If you take this up to your elbow, then this is 1, then this is 1/3, this is 2/3. If you take this up to your shoulder, this is 1, then this is 2/3, this is 1/3. Don't believe it. Go back, take a ruler and measure. This is exactly golden rule. Human being, whole body is golden rule. If you don't have a golden rule, you're either too fat, too thin, or too ugly, not wanted. And God will throw you away. Okay. That's most of you are here Chinese, right? Do you know how do Chinese call this area? English call that what? This area between the nose and the lips. What is this area? Chinese say middle of human being, 人中. Why of all the people, these people be, how can't the middle be the navel? Why must we be here? Chinese consider this as the yin and yang. That is the middle of a human being. Anything above this, human being supposed to have 10 openings. Above this, there are 5 openings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 2 openings go into 1. The nose, two holes go into 1. So therefore it's 5. From here downward is 1, 2, center of the navel, and then 4, 5. The other one is 2 into 1. It's 1 into 2. Yeah? Your sex organ is 1 into 2. This is 2 into 1. So therefore, out of the 5 on the top, 5 on the middle, these separate the middle, human middle. That is 人中上行. So Chinese would say, 一竅開，九竅散. One hole open, the other 9 hole close. When 9 hole open, 1 hole close. When you were born, you open your navel. When inside the stomach, your navel is open. All the other 9 close. By the time you are born, they cut your navel, they tied it up, that one closed, the other 9 open. And this is what happens. So if we look into human being, they used to say a human being, if you look at that, you know, if we do on feng shui, it's like that, the same thing. Yes. You look at the finger here, there is a measurement. Yes. Anything beyond that, your finger is considered funny. You see that? If that is 1, you have done the 618, 618. If you draw a square divided into 1/3, 2/3. You saw that? You see this or not? Too far, I can't show you the measurement. Go back, measure yourself. Okay. Then if you look at the face, anything conform to golden rule proportion, your face, your width, and your depth and your width must be 1/3, 2/3. Your ear must be 1/3, 2/3. Your eyes must be 1/3, 2/3. The whole body must be like that. So you look at all the 3 girls' picture, which one is most pretty? Very pleasant, the most pleasant one. Yes, you can see. Yes, isn't that your finger? Everything else, human being, is God sent. You are made to be a golden rule conform, or else you are not supposed to be here, right? You see, the one on the left is not golden rule. You don't like, right? The one on the right, the thinner one supposed to be is golden rule. The fatter one is not. So therefore, which one you love more? Not only for girls, men, the same. The leaves, the plants follow golden rule. The horse, the animal follow golden rule. Pineapple follow golden rule. Yeah. Look at all the plants that we show there. The architecture used to the architect used to take this picture as their logo, that the one of the struggles, one of the world famous architect drew this, and to show the golden rule of a human being, and that houses should be built according to golden rule. But not many people after him followed. Some did. The one on the far right is actually Parthenon in Rome. The Parthenon is one of the best building in architecture ever built, ever in history, called the hall, the Temple of Parthenon. That was, now of course it's very run down. They are proposed to rebuild it again. Anyway, so this is what it looks to be. So as a result, if your door is at the tip of 55, your door is here, yes, and if your kitchen is in the 13, on the 13th cube there, yes, and if you do a line like that, the house will then be considered golden rule compliance. That means if the width of the door, of the hall of the wall of the house is 55, the depth should be 89, with 55 plus 34. So therefore, you got to do it to segment that. You got to do the wall of the building into such a manner. Possibly you don't believe and you doubt. You are not the first one. I doubt this like crazy. So much so that in my course of my job on my work, one day, I don't want to mention name, one day I met a lady minister in Malaysia. She holds a double PhD. And I happened to do her house. And I mentioned this to her. And she said, David, you know, I'm a scientist. I'm double PhD, you know. You are telling me something. You're insulting me. Can you prove to me? How do you like that? You both like crazy and somebody say you prove it. Can you prove it? Prove that the Fibonacci, the energy is so good and so good and so good, because I told her that this line is actually the meridian dial line of the house. You can hold your path by doing this. So as a result of that question, that challenge, we did a test in her house. Of course, she lives in a bungalow. And then what we did was, I put my compass here at the door, and I put the gas stove, the click stove here. I said, okay, either you start the stove or I start the stove. One, the other guy look at the compass, see whether the compass got any effect. Because there's no other way to prove. He said, okay. She said, okay, you go and told me, you go and start the stove, I look at the compass. So I went to the kitchen. Where am I? So I went to the kitchen to start the stove. She's like the dog looking at my compass. So when I click my compass, the sound very, very loud. The needle click with the sound. She was so shocked. She said, no. You come here. I go and start the stove. So we exchanged place. She went to the stove. I look at the compass. Then she said, you don't block, I want to hear the sound. So she went, she started the stove, the same thing, the compass. That was how powerful that line transmit that meridian power from through all the wall to reach the door. You can do that in your house to test it out. To prove that I was not telling lies. A lot of things, if you don't test it like the rice, you don't believe that you can actually take it out. People can tell you until the cow comes home. So this is what we call so from the entrance, the meridian line, which is a lifeline, is the energy line. The house measurement, of course, must be proportion, and the door measurement must show the proportion. The golden rule proportion applies to the length, the width, and the height of every section of the space. How the meridian works? Life duration of the building, the meridian life, and the expiry. There is always a period of the life, how long this house energy will last, how long you will expire, and what will happen when you energize it. And I call that energizing. Every time you energize, you must be able to see the phenomena, like the needle that flick. If it doesn't flick, the phenomena don't come, it means something is wrong. Either the proportion is wrong, or the width is wrong, the depth is wrong, or the height is wrong, or you put that stove wrong. I designed a building here in Malaysia, in Ampang. And this building was meant to be a charity house where this lady, Madam Yap, who is Yap Kwan Singh's granddaughter, she started the center here for charity. Whoever who got no rights to eat, they can always come here and eat. The people got nowhere to stay, they come here and stay. And the hall was designed absolutely in a golden rule proportion. 1/3 of the building was buried underground. 2/3 of the building was like the turtle back here. Yeah. And from the door onward to the back of the house is exactly according to the width 1/3, 2/3. And the height is exactly according to the meridian line. What happened was, somewhere about 1/3 at the hall, there was a stage. So when you stand at the stage and give speech, you don't need a mic, you don't need a pillar in the building, and the sound of your voice is whole building equal. We never use a mic in that building to give talks. You can still visit the place if you want to. So this is the golden rule proportion of how it is been drawn and how it's been used. And the one on the rightmost is I draw for people. And of course, since then on, most of the building, if I do, whether it's commercial or otherwise, I will insist on the golden rule proportion of the architecture, or else I make hell of a noise, or I refuse to do it. This is how we do it. Yes. Then therefore, you see the line that I draw here on this building, and I plot them. The shaded area are the favorable area. The one that is no shade are not favorable. Yes, the same thing here. Yes, we can see this is a building and the layout plan. And then here 1, 2, 3, 4 are the favorable place, favorable area. The same thing we can do to condo, we can do to any type of building, so long as they follow the golden rule measurement, golden rule proportion. Yeah, that is what golden rule is all about. I thought you can also use that to do the kitchen, but since we talk about interior micro of the 4-step, we say the door, the kitchen, and the bedroom. So after covering the door, I want to cover the kitchen. We talk about kitchen. Because of course, when I talk about after the door, the kitchen, and the bedroom, we refer to the spouse of the family, whether it's a wife, or if the wife is the bread earner, then you got to find somebody else, a daughter, whatnot. We normally don't use a man, the house husband, for the internal, even though if he cook and he don't work. Very unfortunate, because the male is a force, it's not a physical shape, right? So in kitchen, of course, one of the things that is very important that we wanted to do is the stove has got to be on the meridian, like the Nautilus snail. You see, the Nautilus snail has got no backside. Do you know that? Snail got no backside. That's how they come in. This is the same way they go out. So therefore, the kitchen is the same thing, that the place, the stove should be the heart of the snail. So if we were to be able to draw from the door all the way to the kitchen, of course, 3-dimensional, please. Then the kitchen must basically have a particular measurement. It cannot be square and it cannot be round. We only refer it to be a rectangular shape and size of a 55 and 89 sort of measurement. You can shrink it, whichever we shrink it, it is still in that 1/3, 2/3, 1/3, 2/3 proportion. Very importantly, the ceiling also got to be in that proportion as well. Unfortunately, Malaysia's building, I would say, including terrace houses, 90% to 90% fail on the ceiling. Because if, can you imagine, if your width of your door, the front of the wall is 22 feet or 20 feet, that is the smallest wall we can find, right? Supposedly about 22 to 34 those days. Now they shrink to 20, shrink to 18. Okay, let's even say 20. 20 times 0.61818. What should the ceiling be? At least must be 13 feet ceiling. How many terrace houses conform to 13 feet ceiling? Whether condo or terrace. Not counting bungalow houses. Bungalow houses, some of them, most of them conform. You know what does it mean? It means that the forces that go into a house, if it's not golden rule proportion, it has got certain height. The height is like a kidney bean, not kidney bean, it's a cashew nut bean. You know cashew nut? That's sort of like your ear. So therefore you got to have that height. Anything shorter than the height, it's because the energy will be short circuited. It doesn't hit the wall, it comes down already. If it is too high, then it takes longer time to reach the wall. So therefore, it must be within that, plus minus maximum 5% of that proportion. So it's the same thing. If a house is very low ceiling, without aircon, you can imagine everybody have that experience. It's very stuffy, very hot, and very compressed. Don't you think so? We don't need to build one. All of you have been in one. Yes. So therefore, it's not comfortable. So when can you imagine people transporting chicken from Malaysia to Singapore? You know the chicken shack. All chicken got to stay like that for 10 hours to Singapore. Up to Singapore, if they still survive, it's already a miracle. So the same thing, the kitchen is even more important than anywhere else because you create heat, right? And then if the energy doesn't move, so that's why in the kitchen, if the window is wrong place, the person will cook. Oh, mangchang, you know mangchang? Yeah, very easily irritated. It's so uncomfortable, the heat alone. So the kitchen, why is kitchen so important to the house? You see what happened is the house is where the energy comes in. That's where the window, the air comes in. As it comes in, if it is in a meridian line, if it's a golden rule line, the energy will follow and you reach a kitchen. Yes. After you reach a kitchen, you cook in the kitchen. When you cook, what happens? Hot air, you create heat. Once you create heat, hot air rises. If you don't know where to run, you run through the back window. Isn't it so? Back door, back window. Then where does it replenish its energy and its air? It's going to come from the front. If the air comes from the door, from the window in the front, it would then, if it's a meridian line, it would then circulate over the whole house. So the whole house is forever ventilated. And that is where the green energy we are referring to is all about. If it's not well ventilated, the no golden rule into the whole house, the two sides of the house wall, on the lower part especially, will always be half a degree to 1 degree hotter than the hot. What does it mean? It means the algae will develop. Sang chang toy. Not then half a degree alone. Then bacteria growth. And then people get sick. Without knowing why sick. Because the air is not ventilated, it's not being replaced. So therefore, in that kitchen alone, there are, of course, there are other placements that we need to consider, like where to put the fridge, where to put the sink, and where to put so that the energy will actually circulate themselves. There is a formula to place the stove, the sink, and the fridge. But that one we do in the higher session. Okay. So therefore, when you go into the kitchen, first, because you divide the kitchen into 9 equal sectors, like our magic square. And then from there, we identify and mark the 4 positive sectors based on the magic square that we did earlier on. You remember the circle with the color one? The same thing apply into the kitchen. Yes. And of course, this base is based on the lady of the house. The man of the house is now jobless. He's going to come back to the hotel and stay only. 3 is we then superimpose to the compass, put the compass on as if that the house compass, wherever the door is, like where we did when we enter the house. Then the 3 major items of stove, incoming water source, and refrigerator at the positive sector. Your 4, at least on the 3 positive sector, if possible. Where possible, place anything that is not good at the negative sector, such as toilet, dustbin. Because in any space, if there are 4 positive sectors, there are always 4 negative ones. Yeah. So of course, don't put your toilet bowl on the positive sector, right? You don't shit on every day there, right? So we place it in negative sector. Allow air ventilation. Ensure main entrance and the back door not in one line. Yes, that is of course to avoid the air goes straight in, straight out, so that the 2 sides of the house will not be sucked. The energy will not be sucked and then ventilated. Of course, you got to observe the basic logic, design, and placement, because the interior designer or the architect, supposedly they are supposed to design all this. Architects and designer in the first year in university, they learn about golden rule proportion. They go to learn about that. That was year 1's job. But after that, after they left school, they don't know how to do it, or they forgot how to do it. Or maybe their teacher did not teach them how to do it. There are a lot of architect and designer that I talked to, they heard of the name called golden rule proportion, but they don't know how to do it. Very, very sad. Anyway, never mind. Yes. Yes. Okay. Normally, back door and front door are not supposed to be one straight line. Both those houses with condo or houses with terrace house, they have that problem. Why? Because once the air coming from the main door and the back door is one straight line, the air will go in and come out without circulating around the other part of the building. If the back door is at the diagonal or have wall blocking along the way, the air will force to circulate or to go around, mitigate in such a way they move around the house. As they move around the house, they got to go out. So they normally go up from the back or from the side. As a result, they drag along the energy within the house with them. As such, they will ventilate the whole house. Once you go straight in, straight out, you will then doesn't move the forces on 2 sides of the wall. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, bacteria will grow, multiply there, and end up with algae, and end up it's not healthy for the house. Any household people know algae grow on the wall is not healthy. But of course, most of the time, people with that sort of house will fall sick. Don't know why.
So continue from there, right? If window and balcony,
Yeah.
the same straight line applies.
Yes, that one easy to mitigate. What you do is go and get yourself a screen. Chinese say ping feng. You do a screen in between the main entrance door and the back door. If it is straight line, do a screen to force the air to do S movement.
That is exactly the third question that Shannon followed up on.
Ah,
She was asking if we need to place the screen.
Yes.
Main door and balcony is in one line. I think we are all online.
out of line, no. The purpose is don't want to let the air go straight in, straight out. You put a screen in between to block the air. They doesn't think like you, not like us. So therefore, you're forced. You put there, forced to go mitigate the air, forced to mitigate. Once they mitigate, the back air will follow to mitigate, and then of course they will suck the air on the wall out. Well, Does that answer you, Jalen?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, let's continue. On the bedroom orientation, it's more or less the same, except that we also divide into 9 magic square. We superimpose the compass the bed in one or the 4 good sectors. For a bedroom, it's a bit difficult. Some of the bedroom are very, very small. Some of the bedroom is just slightly bigger than the bed, a double bed, king size bed. They are difficult. Anyway, the sleeping orientation, the overhead beams, toilet, bathroom location is exactly like what we talk about on the toilet, on the kitchen, except sleeping orientation. Overhead beam a lot of time because of what do you call ceiling. The ceiling, either you do plastic ceiling or you do other ceiling, you actually cover up the overhead beams. You are not sleeping in a nightclub or that sort of places where you can see the beam. Nowadays they cover. The only other difference is if you know there were overhead beam before they put the ceiling on, then maybe you want to avoid sleeping under the beam. Because under the beam is compared to the size of the house is just like a razor blade. Yeah, you sleep under a razor blade. Not only just the weight of the beam is hitting on you, it's like a razor blade is actually cut you. So putting a ceiling in between, you stop the cutting, but you may not be able to stop the weight. But more importantly, is actually the sleeping orientation. Some of the people advise you got to sleep in the head on the north, leg on the south, or the other way around. I'm totally against that. Because when we sleep your head on the north, because remember that north, there's a magnetic pole on the north and south, right? Don't we know that? So when you sleep in the north, the pool, the magnetic pool is pulling your head. You may say, yeah, my head got skull, it's not metal. The magnet will not pull my head there. But you forgot about in your body, there's an item called blood. The blood is liquid, it's fluid. And in the fluid, there are very minute amount of iron. Don't we? This minute amount of iron will follow the magnet and keep on drawing for 8 hours. You sleep there, draw and draw and draw. Or the magnet filing or the minute magnet will be stuck in the skull. Wouldn't it be so? It will. The answer is, the question is, what happened if the iron deposited too much in your head? Two things. You block your head with all the blood veins. First thing happened is you got a bad dream. When you have bad dream, it means you don't sleep well. Am I right? When you sleep well, you sleep sound like a baby, you don't have that sort of problem. You don't wake up in the middle of the night. So when the head is in the north, you will then have bad dream. Because your bad dream, tomorrow you can't work well because you don't sleep well. And of course, if we give you a tumor inside, then you got a bigger problem. So it's not a good idea to sleep with the head in the north. So the question is, why don't I sleep the other way around? My head in the south. It's just as bad because then your head in the south, the leg is in the north. Yes. Then the magnet don't pull your head. It doesn't know head or tail. Your leg also I pull, head also I pull. The leg they keep pulling, all the iron goes to your leg. Then either you got arthritis or you got what they call gout, whatever it is. So you complain and blame it on what do you call it? Uric acid, is it? Then what do? Keep on taking painkiller to stop your uric acid. So if you don't sleep in the north or the south, the iron, the magnet has got no effect on you. So how do you sleep? Why don't you sleep on east and west direction? God tell you so. Why? That's why your heart is on the left side of the body. If north is on your left, your heart is on the left. You sleep for 2-3 hours, you pull, you don't feel comfortable, you turn. Right? Your heart become on the south. Then you keep pull, not comfortable, you don't. So the whole night you can roll and roll and roll. You still sleep well, don't you? You know how many times we roll in the bed every night? Many times. We didn't wake up. But you cannot do somersault in the head. There's no start with the head, isn't it? You got to somersault every night. Very difficult, huh? Or if you don't mind somersault, I don't mind either. Anyway. And of course, one other thing that if they are spouse, husband and wife, then we have little issues. If the husband and wife is a different quad, different types of trigram. The male is the positive trigram, they sleep on the positive side. The girl on the negative side, sleeping negative side. What if it's the same? Then we have a male and a female. Then you divide on the male side and the female side. You draw the magic square, you got the male and female, don't you? Right. Don't listen to Imaku Jay, that's all. Oh no, he got to sleep so that the wife don't crawl over you. Yeah, sometimes the bed is against the wall, right? So if the husband sleep inside, the wife sleep outside, the husband go to toilet, every night must crawl over the wife. Chinese okay, but if for the wife to crawl over you, no good. Yeah, isn't it? Chinese pantak. Nowadays, who crawl over who, never mind. When the husband and wife make love in bed, they never say who crawl over who. All right. So that is so far as the bed is concerned. Except we are very concerned about the toilet and the bathroom. So long as the toilet bowl don't sit on the positive area, fine. And worse, if we stay in the health area or you stay in the wealth area. Stay in the wealth area, then therefore you don't make money. If you stay in the health area, then you will not become healthy. If you stay in the harmony area, then you quarrel all the time. Right. I thought that's ABC, right? But what if I buy a house is already like that, especially in condominium, to remove to shift the toilet. Toilet bowl is a headache because there's a downpipe, there's a US crack, very difficult because the upstairs, downstairs, the wall is only the ceiling, the wall between them is maximum 9 inches. Yeah, you can't possibly knock into the downstairs. Say, hey, Shiva, I want to get my toilet changed. So very important is if you before you buy, you have the drawing. You got a floor plan. They tell you where the toilet is. You can actually make arrangement. But of course, best is you build own house. How to build your own house? First, you must stay in a house that makes a lot of money to allow you to buy another empty land to build a bungalow. All right. Okay, now the 8 entrances and the positive and the negative. First, we're talking about the positive. We got order. You have learned from day 1 to here. Negative, I said, we don't tell you as of now because we don't want to confuse, make you more confused. The next time, the next class, if we have an advance from here, we'll go into the negative. Okay. So today, for today too, we have done up to matching. Yes. So the last part of it we have done is energizing. Just now I give you a little bit of teaser on the lady minister on the stove and the door. That is one of them, but we have other ways. Okay. So step 4, environology. Step 4 on energizing. Okay. In energizing, there are 2 important parts. One is you got to pick the year, the month, the day, and the time. The time here is very, very important to determine what day you want to, what day, what month, what day, what time to start the energizing. 1. 2 is upon energizing or after energizing, you must be able to see the phenomena, the proof of work. If you have done the job correctly from A to Z, the phenomena should come or will come. But if you have done it wrong, then of course the phenomena will not come. What are the phenomena? Phenomena are something that very odd that you don't commonly see. For example, some of them I did. I say, well, you will see a fish on the tree. How often you see them? Never. But in phenomena, they will give these are funny phenomena for you to observe. Or you see a dog on the roof, cat on the roof, maybe. Why the dog on the roof or what? That sort of thing. So phenomena in our context, it must be odd, not commonly seen phenomena. You go, oh, we see a baby running on the field. Every day you see now. I see somebody in green. A lot of people in green. Go to supermarket, you see what? Sure, see somebody in green. Things like that. So it must be something odd. Example. That for the past case history, for example, for the living, After you conduct the phenomena, conduct the energizing, only then you see the phenomena. But for the RIP, for those rest in peace, you must see the phenomena before you bury. That is a bit difficult, a tall calling, because what if we don't see how to bury, bring the cost back, sort of thing. But I can give you some example. How much time have left? Okay, I give a short one example. This is a live thing that we have seen. One is a classmate of mine, actual person. He was, I always tell the same story because he was very, very poor when he wanted to look for a feng shui guy. So he happened to know, his father happened to have a friend who is Guanghua newspaper's chief editor, passed, already dead, Master Yang. What happened was he met him in my house, a common friend. So he asked him, say, hey, my father said, you can help lah, because now I'm very thorough, you help me lah. So Mr. Yang said, that's so urgent thing, difficult lah. Normally the house you do, it take quite a while to see the effect lah. He said, no lah, I'm so thorough, you got to help. He said, thorough, that means we got to dig your father's grave to do lah. Okay, you want lah? He said, yeah lah, my father understand one lah. I'm very thorough, dig. So we went back to Moa, I come from Moa. Went back to Moa, dig his father's grave and rebury. Before the rebury, I cut the story short. So Master Yang told him, tomorrow before we bury, we must be able to see a few things. One of them is you must see a lady dressed in a very colorful dress, come up to us, ask us for the drink. You got to first understand that bury people is on the mountain. Who would go and morning time, who would go and dress a colorful dress and then climb a mountain to ask you for the drink? You can get the drink anywhere, right? But anyway, that's what I said. Listen. So everybody was by the side of the grave waiting with a coffin there, waiting to bury, waiting for this lady to come. And his specific time was we got to wait for noon time. Very, very late, no tree. How to have noon time, not hot? The sun is burning hot. So everybody waited. Then all of a sudden, there was one Indian lady came, dressed so colorful. And he can't ask, and then came, Danny, you want to drink water? Look at the guy. She was a lady, a rubber tapper. Her clothes was stitched with multicolored. Fish patch all over. So colorful. Ask for drink. Master Yang was okay, very normal. But the other people were scared to death. What shit is going on? Anyway, that's what happened. And this classmate of mine, 1 week later, met up with psychiatry and became PA of psychiatry. Heard of psychiatry's name for the elder people? He was used to be the Superman of Sabah. Anyway, at the same time, the same day, on the same place, there was another man who actually originated from Hong Kong. He ran the textile shop, come from Singapore. He watched the thing, he was so convinced. He said, hey, Master Yang, I'm also thorough, you got to help me lah. Master Yang said, why are you so thorough? He said, oh, because he is your friend, you thorough, you can help. I cannot help lah. You pin some lah. He said, no, I tell you, give me a date of birth. You calculate. He said, no, you cannot. I give you also, you cannot take. He said, you pin some lah. I'm not promise you know. He said, okay. If there's a kid, I'll do it for you. But I tell you, you come also, you cannot get it. You cannot get it. So actually went to Singapore. He come to Singapore. He's Singapore, Hong Kong, textile shop in Singapore. Went to Singapore in People's Park then. Then to his house. After doing his house, it's okay. We're not going to stay in your house until you do your renovation. I'm telling you, after your renovation, if you let us know, I'll tell you, on that day, there will be an old man holding a boy, come to your house, and you must invite him to the house. Can you remember? He said, yeah, lah, why cannot remember? Old man holding a boy, ma. It's okay, lah. But if you don't come in, you don't get money, no. Don't also, lah. So we all came back. So about the following month, he called. He said, sorry, lah, I didn't bring him in. He said, why? He said, everything done. I was every day waiting for the old man with the boy. And that fateful day, I went to open the shop, whole family. Went to the shop, forgot to bring the key. So he told her family to wait at the people's park. He rushed back to the house to bring the key. As he going in a rush to come out, an old man holding a boy poked his head into the house and said, wow, your house very nicely renovated. Yeah. Talk to you another day. Go close. He went to the lift. After going to the lift, he said, oh shit, the old man with the boy. He went all over the place. And people looking for the old man. Of course, they never found him until today. And this is what happened on, we call it the phenomena. One is before, one is after. And this is a real story. Okay, so therefore, for the exercise, we have done identification, we have done selection, we have done matching, and little homework or little exercise. If this male is born in 1989, what kwa is he? Can I do it now? We did it on the day one. Those online, can you remember this? Huh? Can? And if it is a lady born in 1965, so what kwa is she? Okay, while you are doing the calculation, I run to the toilet shop. Good answer? Huh? Any answer? How many two? Good. The other girl? So you see, you already passed. You can be a Feng master now. But remember, you got to watch out for the winter solstice. Yeah? Okay, therefore, if giving this house, watch carefully, yeah? If the subject is a male and they're born in 89, April the 16th, and the main door is now where? Main door is southwest. Yes, it's not south, huh? You have already crossed the quadrant. It's in southwest. And then you look at his kitchen and his bed. Okay, so then if this is the Fakwa is this male, yes, and where should the door be? First, identify the trigram first. Yes. Is a dorsal team or not? Huh? Doesn't suit him. Where should the door be? Yeah. So like what that just I told somebody just now. So if it's wrong, cannot mitigate, shift. Right. Because the door is in southwest. Doesn't suit him, right? Suit him or not? Huh? It's equal to 10, 27, 10, 17, 27. 27 is 9. Right. 1989. Quartu, yes. Plus, it's actually quartu. Not the best though. But he said, what quadrant is that? How many health, wealth, or what? Quartu is what? It's advancement, right? Is it advancement? Yeah? No, quartu how can be? Quartu, go back to the eight. It's southwest is advancement. So therefore, he got one of the good door, but not the best. Yes. So where is his kitchen? Can you find his kitchen? Yes, where the kitchen is? The kitchen is in the kitchen is in between south and southwest. Correct. Because if one more, you can actually reshift the sink and the stove into the west. But because this example given did not include the wife. You see or not? So therefore, the answer is not relevant because you cannot use husband to look for the kitchen, nor the bed. Right. So the question is a very tricky question. Thought that you want to use a male for the door and all the rest, which is not right. Okay. So the question is irrelevant for the kitchen and the bed. Okay. Next. Okay. Now the subject is say the lady of the house come in, but the door is not the same anymore. This is a new building. Yes. The male is the same, but the wife is the same year, except it's on December 22nd. Okay. So where is the door? The main entrance door. The main entrance door is in northwest. Correct. Can you see? How can I enlarge this? Huh? And there you see? Huh? This is the north, right? This is north. This door is in the northwest. The west is here. Huh? So the door is the door is in the northwest, which is a quarter line. Correct? So the northwest to same. He got a how many doors already, right? Now look at the kitchen. Now look at the wife. What is a wife? Yes. On December 22nd, has he passed winter solstice or not? Right? It's already past winter solstice for that year. The year winter solstice is 21st. So therefore, it's already in 1990. Correct? 1990 is what? Is the one you got to convert into 5, 5 you got to convert into 8. When you go back to the 0, 0, 0. So where's the door? The door again, the door nothing to do with her. She's talking about the master bedroom and the kitchen because she's the lady of the house. Yeah. Okay, give you 5 minutes to digest. But even if you take half a minute, I think it's acceptable because it's your first job. For the male, it's a 1. For the female, it's a 5. 5 compared to 8. Where do you want his master bedroom to be? So the lady is now become Qua 8. Qua 8 is on the Western group. Where do you think you want her bedroom to be? There are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds. 5 bedroom is a bungalow. So for 4 bed, 1, 2, 3, 4 bed. 4 bed, there are, which one is the bigger one? The bigger one don't seem to be suitable for her. You got only the suitable one for the southwest and west. There are only 2 beds. The link bed between the two. Yeah. The kitchen is half correct. The bedroom, the one either take the west or the southwest. The 2 bedroom are not her best choice. So, up thinking of the choices, she may have to take the one on the west. Because the one southwest is only her advancement, not very good. Totally lost. That's why you see when you listen to the class, she sounds like you know everything already. But when it comes to practical, all of a sudden when you see a house with a plan, because you got to place the northeast southwest into place, and then you got to match the matching of the qua into the room, the door to the kitchen. There are so many possibilities, so many choices. And the worst part is when the choices are of no choice. You can't choose because it's wrong. And that makes it more difficult. Okay, this one I give you a help. Okay, the man is already very simple. He is already having a right door, which is the northwest door. Okay. Now the lady is a only problem because 1990 is actually for men is Qua 1, for the lady is Qua 5. Qua 5 you got to convert into 8. So therefore she's an 8. Giving the Qua 8 choice is either you take northwest, northeast, west, or southwest. There are four areas. Okay, let me point to you. You can either have this quadrant, this quadrant, this quadrant, of this quadrant for the kitchen and the bedroom. If you let's go for the kitchen, if the kitchen on this quadrant, yes, you only have little part of this, yes. Therefore, the kitchen is in a half of the quadrant right. The other half is not right. Yes, understand? The line here tells you this is northeast, her favorable. The east is not her favorable. So therefore, you got to discard this out, the east sector out. So you have left this. Where are you? Okay. Now, if you were to choose the west and the southwest, both are correct, but of course, the southwest seems, the west seems to be much more favorable. This sector, the west to be more favorable. Then, of course, if you are thinking of choices, you can shift the kitchen to the southwest if you have choice. But logically, it's wrong because you cannot have a kitchen next to the master bedroom. Very difficult, yes. So therefore, it is a choice out, no choice. The husband got the right door for her. She can have the bedroom in the west, and the kitchen she have got to make do. She don't have a choice unless she re-renovate that kitchen area. So these are choices. If you buy a ready bungalow. Of course, if you build the bungalow yourself, it's a totally different story. If you know feng shui, lah. If you don't have feng shui, you look at a bungalow without the compass there, without knowing the qua, what's wrong with this bungalow? Looks good, right? Nothing wrong with it. But once you think of the feng shui and think of the compass, then all of a sudden, the only right thing there is a door. So therefore, you put into the matching and the selection, then all of a sudden, the choice becomes limited. So it's very difficult for you to make a choice if you happen to be the lady of the house. Right? Okay. The balance of it, what we can do is next time we can do our group chat in our WhatsApp. We can continuously come up with problem and come up with things to share and to solve. All right. Now better continue and finish this out. And then after that, we can come back if you want to and continue with this. Okay. Now, therefore, we're talking about kitchen. We're talking about the bedroom. Now, we come back to here again. The one that you are supposed to do the other day, yeah, the homework, where different qua, and look at the other column about the harmony, wealth, health, and advancement. You're supposed to fill in the column. I'm not going to fill for you. You got to fill it in. Either you submit it to Min, or you can submit it next time during our group chat. All right? But you already done it. Send to Min's group, Min's WhatsApp. All right? Then we will give you the answer whether you've done it right or wrong. Okay? Then the other one, the 64 hexagram, I've given you first 9 on the top, yeah, first 8 on the top, the rest are supposed for you to fill it in. So there you go, all the 64 hexagram for every group, for 000 to 111, horizontally down. Yes, horizontally, the first one 000, every 00 on the second column. The 111 on the last one, all 111. Yes. The first trigram is always referring to the main entrance door or the house. The last trigram is the subject. Remember we did earlier on? Can or cannot? When we started today, you also give back to me already. Did you? Go back to the you have the record of this, so you can go through again and again. Okay, anything that you're not sure after this, you got to chit-chat. Okay. I want to give you some story about this master Lai Pu-yi. Heard of his name, all of you, I'm sure, whether it's film show or elsewhere. He's one of the most popular ancient feng shui master we ever had. He's one of the most popular one that they have a single needle point. This is equivalent to our Nautilus line, our golden rule proportion, but it's more precise up to the point of a needle point. You see, Lai Pui's father himself was a feng shui master. They were born in the Song dynasty. During that time, the father, like all father, wanting their children to be very successful in life. And the most successful is not to be a feng shui master. So he wanted the son, Lai Pui, to become a minister. So throughout his life, he walked through everywhere he can go, mostly in China, northern and southern. He's a southern, he's a middle China. Looking for an area that he can bury himself so that his son can be a minister. That's what he wanted. But his whole life he couldn't find one. So one day when he's walking, he ended up in a place called Qiantangjiang. Heard of Qiantangjiang? It is in the middle of China in Hangzhou, where the river is actually the extension of a lake. And every August, Chinese August, month 8, 15, the tide there was impossible, was so strong that actually it's about, possibly we're talking about 50 feet, 100 feet sort of wave. So when he was there, nearby there was a mountain, Qiantangjiang, there was a mountain. So he was at the mountain, foot of the mountain, thinking of going up to see a better view of Qiantangjiang. As he was going up, he saw a lot of people was all rushing up. He's thinking, hey, you fellas, why rushing up to? It's evening, rushing up to the mountain for what? Nighttime can't see, man. He said, you must be from outskirts. You must not be, but you're not from here, right? He said, yeah. He said, today is Dragon King, Long Wang's birthday. The temple there, I tell you, super duper. You better go and have a look also. So for curiosity, he followed the crowd. He went up. As he was followed behind the crowd. All of a sudden, as he was going up with the compass, he looked and looked and looked. Hey, better look for a place. So he was looking at the tide. The wave was crazy. So with his knowledge, he said, actually, if there's a right place in a mountain, and if we were to put a piece of metal or put a bar, a steel bar into the right place, I can stop the wave from roaring. All of a sudden, yeah, man, this is a place, man. If I were to put a bar there, I can stop the wave. So he walked to the place. All of a sudden, he saw a little girl sitting on that place. So he told the little girl, hey, please, can you move your backside a bit? I want the place to sit on. He said, where got people sit here earlier, move for you, or what do you want to do? He said, please, I just want a space as big as a needle. So he pulled out a needle. He said, only that place. He said, you sure? You want one needle space? Yeah. So she moved her backside. He said, this enough. He said, enough. So he took out the needle, he poked into the place, exactly the place that he thinks can stop the wave. Poked the needle in, the wave didn't stop. So he was puzzled, why all of a sudden my knowledge didn't work today? So the girl looked at him and said, hey, uncle, you wrong calculation. This one is not, no, sorry. He said, you want a space as big as ballpark. He said, just this space. So the guy said, uncle, wrong. This place is not a ballpark space. This one is a needle space. He never heard of needle space. He said, what do you mean needle space? He said, let me show you. Pull out a needle from her hair, poke into it in the middle of the ballpark, poke it. This is what happened. The wave stopped. So, I didn't know feng shui got needle space. Thank you for the lesson. So very dejected, he went down the mountain. So the girl said, aren't you going up to see the temple? He said, yeah, okay. So he went up to the temple. In the temple, Chinese temple used to have a guy, a man who is always do translation for the Qinxi everything. So this woman said, hey, you're not like Pui, right? He said, yeah, how do you know? He said, last night, Xiu Long Loi come and give me, come to my dream and said, you will come today. And she gave me a piece of cloth. Say, this one for you. What Xiu Long Loi know me? Yeah, there's a statue that you're going to see. Look, he went in, look at the statue. Hey, it was a little girl who shaved her backside for him. He said, yeah, Xiu Long Loi. He said, yeah, last night she came. She said, what is it? This is a piece of cloth for you. So he took it, he went down, opened the cloth, he realized what it means. It means Liu Xiulong was telling her, make this cloth for your son to wear, because it's a piece of cotton cloth. Chinese, you want to become a minister, you got to wear silk, all this expensive dress. Only cotton cloth for poor people, ordinary people. So it means that Xiulong was telling him, your son only fit to wear this cloth. He went back so sad. So he called up his son and said, look, father cannot make you a minister. Xiulong already said you're only a commoner. So he told his son, why did you learn feng shui if you're a commoner? So, but hope against hope. If you listen to me, maybe we still can fight Xiulong, we still can make you a minister. So I asked father how. He said, I tell you, next year when you go for imperial exam, to do the examination, the first 1, 2, 3 will become minister. Then how? His father told him, okay, when you go and take the exam, one thing you promised me, along the way you don't have anybody. During exam you cannot help anybody. After the exam you come back. With your ability, your knowledge, you should be able to come up with the third tree. He went on. Along the way, he didn't have anybody. By the time he reached the imperial place, going for exam, everybody got to stay in a hotel first, waiting for exam. So he stayed in a hotel because the father wasn't that poor, so to say. So he stayed in a hotel. But his neighbor, the guy, the whole night keep coughing. So he went knock his door and said, hey, what's wrong with you? What, want to take some doctor or not? He said, don't bother. He said, why? I'm like that, how to go for exam? He said, you don't know, my whole village contributed back, borrow still to give me that little money to be able to come here and take exam. I cannot fail them. He said, but like that, how to take exam? He said, don't worry. So then he remembered the father said, don't help anybody. So he didn't help, went to the exam hall. So unlucky or so lucky, the guy who next door, staying next door to him, coughing, sit next to him in the exam hall. And the exam halfway, the guy slept on the table. So after he finished his question and answer on the exam, he look at the fellow, I'm not finished, I have to finish. But the guy, whole village money, cannot go back empty-handed. So he took out his paper, he answered that, all the question for him. After putting it back, time's up. He didn't answer his own paper. The end of the guy become number 1. So he come up, become 0 because he didn't finish his paper. But anyway, he told him, my name is this. See you, good luck to you. You go and see the emperor, I going home. So he went home. That's what happened to him. He cannot become minister, cannot. But the guy who become minister, normally emperor will ask, when become Zhongyin, their ancestor must be somebody. So say, hey, your ancestors' burial, who did it for you? He said, oh, the guy like me. He said, get him, I want to talk to him. Because he want to thank him. At least he cannot become a minister, he become emperor, master, also good. So the emperor called up Lai Puyi and make him, last time they got Guosi, become the imperial master to do feng shui for the imperial court. But at the same time, there was a very bad minister. Heard of it? Yu Chakui minister, remember? Jin Kui. Heard of it? The Song dynasty, this guy who sold Song dynasty to the Mongolian. So that guy, he wanted to declare himself as emperor. One day, all the ministers in the imperial court invited Lai Puyi to do their feng shui. So is this prime minister. So the prime minister invited him to say, can you see my house? He says, yeah. You look at my grave, my ancestors' grave. You must know last time people's grave, my ancestors' grave, didn't bury in the mountain, they bury behind their house. They can do that. He said, so he told the prime minister, he said, I think you're going on a bit too far. You cannot think you want to do too. don't tell me that's what you think you want to be. So he told him, yeah, why not? So he kept quiet. So Qin Hui, better in heart, it means and way want to kill him. But this Zhuang Yan was already a minister, helped him to say, look, the prime minister want to kill you. I got a lot of friends along the way. I can help you, everybody protect you. So that's why we actually ran all the way from Nanjing all the way to Hong Kong. And all the story about him, right? A lot of story about this, about his life. So the cute part was he did, the father did from Chulongloi on this one single needle point. And that was the marvel of Feng Shui in China to the maximum by Lai Fu. It's a story again. Another story is just for the fun of it. Do you know what is this in the picture? Anybody? Youngster may not have seen this before. Anybody online have seen this before?
TCM,
Anybody?
traditional Chinese
The one on the
medicine.
picture?
Is it traditional Chinese medicine?
Anybody?
Is it TCM? Medical, I mean,
You are there.
Chinese,
Yes,
Chinese medicine.
Chinese medical hall. That's right. This Feng Shui also done by Lai Fu. And from that day onward, all the Chinese medical hall design their medicine like that. Their shop like that. You know the reason? The reason is this medical shop asked Lai Fu for help to say, we want to start a new shop. Can you help us to design our shop? So Lai Fu give him this drawing and say, you do like this. So this medical hall full asked Lai Fu, why do like that? So many boxes, drawer. So he said, this is called Bai Niao Gui Chao Ge. Gui Chao means go back to their nest. Hundreds of birds go back to their nest. And the medical hall asked him, why like that? He said, you see, every morning when you start work, you know, there's on the far right hand, you know what is this? This one? The tumbuh belacan, what do you call that?
Cut the medicine, cut the herbs.
Zhong ham, you know?
Oh.
Then you know what is on the middle here? Abacus. So he told the shop owners that every morning when you start shop, after opening the door, you take the abacus, okay? Wake up the bird, and then you take the zhong ham, tong, wake up the bird and say, hey, go out cari makan. So all the bird will go out cari makan. So night time before you close the door, you also do the same thing, and then tong, then the bird come back. So you must open the drawer, open, close, so that the bird can go home and sleep. So he's asking, why like that? He said, like that, therefore your shop never go bankrupt, you will never go hungry, but neither can you go rich. Because if you go rich, this town there are a lot of sick people. If you go hungry, no food to eat, this town a lot of shop people got no medicine to cure them. That is what Lai Fu is, mercifulness, and so thoughtful that end up all the medical hall, if they design their shop like that, ancient time, no medical hall ever go bankrupt. Nowadays, we don't know. They turn into pharmacy, they turn into all sorts of supermarket already. So ancient time, we don't have, and however small the town, from generation to generation, they never go boko. Until now, so you never heard of it, right? Okay. So now, by the end of the session, you will have one, basic understanding of environology and history, the binary language, how it's been adopted in environology, understand how personal qua is being derived, understanding application of qua and selection of good location, criteria of good location, understand how to utilize good location, critical essential spot within the house and not to be neglected, understand how energy takes place and it being exploited. Then In forces like we have seen just now, there are forces that we've seen, there are forces that we cannot see. There are forces that are explainable, there are forces that are unexplainable. Not that they are not scientific, because sciences have not reached to a lot of places that cannot be explained yet. Or else we don't need science anymore. That's why we keep on exploring, keep on testing, keep on trying. One of other thing that we cannot explain is the word qi. Chinese hold your hand, hold the pulses. The Western one just hold and count how many pulses. The Chinese will be able to hold the pulse and tell you what sickness you have, up to your all the internal organs. Yes. The Chinese, the word qi includes, very inclusive, includes everything that you can't see, anything that moves, they call it qi. When you get angry also is qi, just a sen qi. Yeah. So the word qi is very, very difficult to explain. You basically cannot see the qi at all, but it works marvel for good or for bad. This one I've shown you the qi, but you cannot explain and you cannot see, but it works. Yes. This is what the kinetic molecular theory of, because the fluctuation, the vacuum fluctuation in between the rise. It is using Kashmir plates to prove, which is equivalent to the grain of rices that we do. The theory concerning the thermodynamic behavior of matter, especially the relationship among pressure, volume, temperature, and gases. It also based on the dependence of temperature on the kinetic energy and the rapidity moving of particles in our substance. According to the theory, the energy and momentum are conserved in all collision between particles, and the advantage behavior of the particles can be deduced by statistical analysis. It's not simple as one look and you know. So it's very, very complicated. Have you seen this? You see, when you, in your house, when you turn on, when you put on your sink, the washing basin there, or sink, and you take away the stopper, the water that goes down pipe is going clockwise or anti-clockwise. Never notice, never observe, right? You know, the whole world, there are a lot of feng shui masters in China, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, everywhere. Every one of them, when they reach Australia, New Zealand, it is their Waterloo. They fail. They can be very, very good in Northern Hemisphere. When they go to Australia, they die. Open their shop, a few months later, a few years later, close shop. Why? Because they do not understand that the forces in the Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere is not the same, they're reversed. You know why? Because there is a torque pressure. In the north, because the earth is spinning towards clockwise, the earth is spinning anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere and spinning clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Like this. Yeah. And hence, all the typhoons in the northern hemisphere will go on the clockwise manner because the earth spinning this way, so the force go the other way around. So all this pressure here will then spin towards and clockwise this way up. So the typhoon, the tornado, only one direction. The southern hemisphere is the other direction. And hence, the water in the sink, northern hemisphere will be on a clockwise and southern hemisphere will be anti-clockwise. How do you know? You know, the unfortunate part is a lot of people don't even understand. Do you know the calendar are all written by the northerner? The southerner, none of them ever written calendar. And hence, their winter is our summer, and our summer is their winter. That you know, I suppose. Right. And hence, all calendar talking about Winter solstice always refer to northerner. But the southerners, when you go winter solstice here, they are hot like crazy. So therefore, the people not born in the southern hemisphere, if you ever want to do their feng shui, you got to remember they are our rivers. Rivers in what sense? You think about it, I'll give you the answer the next time. Yes.
Then what about we in the equator, Master Ko?
Ah, fantastic. This question I've been waiting. You finally come.
Yeah.
You see, there was a video shown by African. The African natives don't understand this. So this village, it actually sits on the equator. In South Asia, we have one. The name of the village is called Pontianak in Borneo, southern of Kuching. That town sits on the equator. Not many towns, not many villages sits on the equator. And in Africa, this town sits on the equator. And the natives have make it as a tourist guide, a tourist attraction. What they did was they put 2 buckets of water, yes, and then they put this flower, the little Hai Tan Hua. You know Hai Tan Hua? Heard of it? The 4 petals, orange, purple color, very, very light. And they, 1 bucket of water in the northern hemisphere, 1 bucket of water in the southern hemisphere. Yeah, and then what they do is they put a hole under the bucket, and they put this petal of flower into the bucket. This flower into the bucket, and they release the water. And funny enough, on the southern one, they go anti-clockwise, and the northern one going clockwise. And it becomes a tourist attraction. Interested, one day I'll send you this video. It's very amazing. But of course, the African cannot explain. They don't understand this Coriolis effect. For many, many, many years, the Coriolis force has been claimed by a lot of scientists as a fictitious bullshit. Sorry for my language. And they actually say this. It's a fictitious force, but it is not a fictitious force. It is a true force. Just like centrifugal and centripetal. The astronauts want to fly out. Which way do they fly? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? Which way? Because of the escape velocity, you must calculate. If you forget about the escape velocity of centrifugal and centripetal, the rocket never go up. Understand? Yes or no? I'm sure you understand when I explain. So the question is asked about if it is on exact equator, the flower don't go left or right instead. You got to move a little bit, 1 inch left or 1 inch right to see how the flower turns. It's amazing. Yeah.
And how do we apply this onto the feng shui?
First application is on the summer, on the winter, number 1. Yeah, because you see, just now like the rice, the house, when you walk in and out of the house, there are forces. Like, I'm sure you understand about tornado, right? Right? Am I? Who is that talking just now?
Yes, yes, tornado. Yes, Monica.
Tornadoes spin on a particular angle. Yes, on the northern hemisphere, that's how they go. Yeah, like that. Yes.
Clockwise and anti-clockwise.
Yeah, it's a clockwise on the northern hemisphere. But on the whirlpool, in lake and in sea, this water all of a sudden suck in. Even big rocks and big rocks, they will suck in, right? They call it the whirlpool, right? If you've seen one, you will scared how the power that you can put in. And in the southern hemisphere, there are more whirlpool in the northern. There are more tornado in the north than in the south for the same reason. How does that apply to feng shui? That was the question that you asked. The first, you got to redo the person's date of birth because they are on the wrong calendar. The whole world, there's only one school of thought, writing a calendar for the southern hemisphere. And the person is called David Cole. Nobody bother to, because
Okay.
the southern hemisphere, they fail anyway.
Yeah.
They fail for a reason because they don't know why. You must know, like doctor, you want to give people medicine, you must know the sickness first. Then you give the solution. If you don't know what sickness, what medicine do you want to give? First, you must know the problem, then you find the solution. Yeah.
All right.
But next day, that's one. This is not $1 million question, it's $1 trillion question. We are in the midst of finishing the calendar. Yeah, it also took me 20, 30 years. When people tell me correlation effect is bullshit, until they now agree that yes, correlation effect is real. The weather and the tornado and the whirlpool proven it. Of course, on Africa and Pontiana, you're talking about 1 foot, 2 feet away from the equator. The force is not as powerful as Australia or South Africa. But Singapore, Malaysia, we are the same. We are just a couple of degrees north, so therefore you're still polar northern hemisphere. You know, you remember this merry-go-round? You run on the merry-go-round, you understand. As you are running on one particular direction, there is a torque pushing you the other way around. Not that you realize it. Only thing you run faster, that's all. And it will stop. If you stop, you get thrown out. That is also similar to the what name did they use? The rocket I'm mentioning. The spaceship. Yeah, the centripetal and centrifugal force is the same. That is created also because the Earth spins. If the Earth don't spin, there will be no centrifugal, there will be no centripetal. The merry-go-round is a centrifugal effect, and that is resulted in the correlation. The spin of the Earth resulted in the correlation, and the result is in the weather like this. Yeah. You see, we are our monsoon always spin one way. Last year, 2021, our monsoon spin the other way. Do you know why? Even Google make a mistake because they still follow this. All of a sudden, it doesn't work. Why? Because the weather change. The global warming causes this. If you ask any doctor, you also tell you, you know, when you get flu, you're supposed to have a flu jab, right? How many of you ever think of flu jab when you get flu? People in Australia, they're all very, very popular. They all must have a flu jab every year so that they don't get flu. I was very, very puzzled. So one day I asked the doctor, I said, hey, every time I want to ask you for a flu jab, he said, wait up to November lah. I said, wait until after November, we cannot early, man. He said the flu comes from northern hemisphere first. The southern hemisphere only when they have the flu and then they come up with the antidote, then we copy. So therefore, the flu starts in the north hemisphere. Why? Because you get the winter first. Of course, you can't. The earth spin like that, the sun go like that. That's how our earth behave. We only know it's like that, but we don't know why. So when the doctor tell me the answer, oh my God, that helps me with my calendar. Because I got a problem with that. The calendar, where do I start? I start with northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. Who comes first? Who has got winter solstice first? I mean, that's $1 million question I couldn't answer. I don't know where it starts. I mean, both got winter solstice, right? Now, who must I give first? Give Australia first or give northern hemisphere first? It was puzzling me like crazy. A lot of time, an assuming answer come up from somebody. He also don't know why, but he give the answer where I was thinking of finding the answer match. Remember, I was telling you the S wave and the P wave on the Earth's forces. Also by accident, I found it. A lot of people are telling me, how can you know the Earth force is pushing this way, pushing that way? Then I was thinking about this, this earthquake. The earthquake, how does it, after the quake, where the forces go? I was thinking, how do I know the Chinese girl who say the force don't cross water? Why the force don't cross water? I can understand two different material. In between there, you got to keep on transferring the energy before you go to the next one. I understand. Reduce, yes. But cannot cross, I cannot understand. I cannot understand that for more than 20 years. I dare not speak loudly about environology, feng shui, science. I dare not. I don't have the answer. Until one day, one of my students, the husband is a geologist. Then in the house, we just chat. He said, yeah, the process, the P wave cannot, the P wave of course can cross, but S wave cannot cross. So I said, hey, what is P wave, S wave? Huh? That hit me like a 10-ton jet. Wow, shit. I've been looking for the answer for 20 over years. This man, I mean, he is a geologist. He nothing feng shui to him. Huh? But he gave me a breakthrough so great that he confirmed what Kerpu had said 2,000 years ago. How did Kerpu know the S wave cannot cross water? You need somebody to prove. And he said, I can't prove. I want to prove, but I don't know how to prove until the geologists prove it to me. Now I got to further proof. I need further proof. I need to further how many, what is the pressure, how many pounds per square inch to prove. And how does it bounce back? I know it bounced back. I know it happened like that, but I don't have the formula equation to give the numbers. I need numbers. I've never shy about what I don't know, but I'm still searching. Corally survey took me 25 years to find. Geology give me 20 years to find. It's not easy. Today, I loudly, proudly claim environology is pure science. That I do not know is because I don't know yet, not that it's not science. Not that it cannot be proven. Someday it can be proven. You say qi. What is qi? Anything that can see Chinese or what qi? 天气、热气、冷气，什么都是气，那什么气啊？ But they are actually a force. So I call it no word. I don't like to use the word qi anymore. I use it as a force. Visible, non-visible, all are force. Okay, so therefore, this is the limitation of environology. Do we have a limitation? Yes, we have. Environology, talking about building, talking about houses, talking about landform, yes. But when it comes to human life, that is a bit shortcoming. We don't have. So therefore, there are two arms of environology. One is environology itself that you have learned. Two is LPS, light profiling system. Chinese say 八字, but I've changed it. Like feng shui, I changed it to environology. 八字, I changed it to light profiling system. Environology cannot overrule or it cannot change one's life. If you stay in the house, environology can't change. That's it, and that's it. We cannot change the earth into non-earth. We cannot change the qi into non-qi. But environology may reduce the effect of LPS. If you are born, let's say this guy go bankrupt, environology can help you to maybe lesser. That yes, but eradicate, no. Environology can enhance and by LPS to maximum. For example, your life, you are supposed to earn $1 billion. Feng Shui can help you to $1 billion and period, not $1 billion and $1 more, and that's it. But it can reduce it $1 billion to maybe only 10,000. That is what environology can do. But it can bring back effect. And yes, if it is wrongly applied or insufficient knowledge, then it's big problem. You can kill people without you knowing it. Now, from here, where do we go? To some of you may be thinking of asking since day one. Okay, one, from advanced to environology, main course. The main course is what I've been teaching in Shanghai, Jiao Tong University, or I've been teaching in Penn Architect in Malaysia. Stage one is 120 hours, which is 30 sessions times 4 hours, called elementary. Stage two, 120 hours, 30 sessions times 4 hours, we call it intermediate. Stage three, 120 hours or so with 30 sessions times 4 hours, which is final. Of course, these include practical. Stage one, stage two, stage three includes practical doing your house. So if you got a class of 20, you would have practical of 20 houses. Everybody's house, practical is included. Then from then on, what are the subjects covered in this part 1, part 2, part 3? Is one is advanced environology. 2 is you will cover I Ching. 3 also you will cover LPS, light profiling system, on these 3 stages. what can one achieve after these 3 stages? One is you can become an environology practitioner if you pass the exam and you do enough practical. 2 is you can from then on teach environology as a career, and also you can also learn LPS and teach LPS and also read life for other people. So environology for beginners, ladies and gentlemen, it ends here. Thank you very much. Question answer time. Any question of what we have learned, what you have listened to for advanced classes? If you can talk about the classes, but we cannot give you what is inside. If you ask any question, it's future question that we are going to teach, then I cannot answer. No, it's 1. It's not 1. It's not 9. It's 1. It's 19 plus 9 plus 19 plus 9. 19 is 1. 9 is 1. 9 plus 1 is also 1. 10. 10 is 1. Because our maximum number is 9. There's no 10, no 11, no 12. You can add the digit into one number. Okay. So if it is male, that is male for 1. For male 1, female is 5. When a female or male gets 5, for a male, the 5 turn into 2. The female 1 turn into 5 turn into 8. Because this is called tompang, we don't have such kwa. We don't have kwa 5 in the magic square. Kwa 5 is in the middle. Huh? In the magic square, the 5 is always in the middle. So therefore, if you happen to 5, you are in the middle. So for a male, he got the tompang kwa 2. For a female, you got a tompang the other side kwa 8. Kwa 8, yes. That's why they call the lady papo because of the kwa 8. Patwa.
Master Alex here.
Yes.
I got one question which I posted on the WhatsApp. Hope you don't mind, because most people when they calculate the life qua, understand where this comes from, because I learned a little bit before. Most other schools, they will use the lunar lapchun, the lichun.
Yeah.
But in your case, it's very interesting. I find it very, very intriguing that you use the winter solstice. And then I remember winter solstice, people say it's tong yin da ya sui. So what is the rationale between these two?
What is the rationale for lichun? You must ask the question first.
Yeah.
So you learn from somebody, say lichun is the beginning of the year. You must ask the person, why? What is the rationale of lichun? Then I give you the answer, why is Tong Si Lo? Can or not?
Yeah, so because I don't
just ask
banana.
Doing research. You must do research first. Whoever tell you, I don't answer people's question because I don't fight ghosts. Cannot. Who is the Yante? Who is the person? And now you go and tell the other person, say, hey, master said like this, and now we become fighter. We fight for what?
No, I'm not asking for an argument. I'm just saying that.
No. Wait. You ask question, I also ask question. Right. Don't only you ask question, I must answer. I ask question. Right.
Yeah.
If somebody come and tell you, what is your name, Francis?
Alex.
Somebody come and tell Alex, if somebody say you are idiot, how would you think?
Then we'll ask her, why do you say so?
He said, oh, somebody. Who is somebody? Correct. Cannot like that. It's unfair to the person who tell you to you feel unfair, but wrong. So I asked the question. You said Li Chun, you told me somebody ma. If you said, then I answer you. If you said, I would answer the question. Somebody else said, who told you, you must ask somebody first.
Because the classics always say Li Chun, and I'm being sorry.
You don't keep on asking the question without answering my question.
I don't know the basis of Li Chun.
Wait, right? Who told you? Who told you?
Well, if you learn in the market, everybody from Dato' Joey to everybody uses Li Chun.
Whoever told you that? No, whoever told you that you cannot like that. I will give you the answer, guaranteed. I don't run away from question, but you must not run away from question either.
Yeah, because I've learned from Dato' Joey. I've learned,
You ask him first. You
Yeah.
ask him why he said Lichun is the beginning of the year. You must ask. He must give you the logic and the reason. Or else, not worth you, man, right? You go and learn from him, you say, I cannot answer, cannot. You ask me, whatever I told you, I answer. Guaranteed. Somebody ask question, unfair, right?
No, I'm
Unfair,
just
fair.
because I really don't know. I'm also hampered by the lack of the ability to read Chinese classics.
You don't need. You
Yeah,
don't need
so-
to read that. You should know. Because this actually ABC is a calendar.
But to be honest, they won't answer. You know, you question them in class also. Not everybody is like you, you know. So you question them, they show you a dark face one, you
I'm
know.
going to answer his question. No, I'm not going to answer his. I will answer mine. Right? I tell you this. You go and check. Why people who write calendar, right? Why they put the word Lichun? 1, 2. Why of all the 12 months, every month got leap month? Why Lichun month no leap month? On Dongzi, why there's no leap month? 3. Why Yi Jing say Li Dongzi is the beginning of the year? You must study that. Not Chinese, English also got. Right? 4. 奇门遁甲, why they use Dongzi as beginning of the year? 5. 无印六气, why they mention Dongzi is the beginning of the year? I give you 5 already, no? None of them say Lichun is the beginning of the year.
Interesting.
I cannot.
I'll go and research
Maybe
further.
you have the answer beyond doubt. But you got to do research. 学问是学跟问，不是挑战。挑战学不到东西的。
我不是挑战，我就是要问，因为我不明白为什么。
不要求学问，学问是求回来的。学问不是说有对，有对，这个是挑战的，不可以的。这个求法是错的。我们以前要跟人家告诉你一个故事了哈。我已经会风水会八字的人。Last time there was one 风水八字师傅开门做生意。I wanted to 拜师啦，不是 not that I don't know. I just want to say compare whether what I have learned, what you have learned, any different 啊。So I said， 师傅，我给你拜师吗？师傅他又没有给我东西哦，人我就天天买榴莲给他吃啊。楼下人家卖榴莲嘛，买。Then after that, he allowed me to sit next to him when he answered. People come and ask lah. Then every time comes important thing, I say, "Ako, 你下去跟我买包烟啦." So I go down and buy cigarette, come up, 讲完了。Next time another important case, 对吧？下去跟我买，叫杯锅币上来，把锅币叫他上来，就问我了。Then I understand， 我求你求知识不够诚，因为在他来讲，我的求法不诚，不是他不肯教，做师傅的从来没有拒绝学生，任何谁都一样。很多人就是不告诉你，为什么呢？他就哎呀，这个天机不可泄露，我很讨厌。我真心求你，你要答告诉我。但是在我求你之前呢，我要研究先嘛。I must find my facts right. If I got 0, I ask you a question. You spend 40 years checking on this and ask you one question, you must answer me rightly. 不公平啦。No, correct or not?
Yeah.
It take people, like I told you, correlates effect took me 25 years. Yeah, S-wave, P-wave, took me 25 years. Yes, I hide or not, I don't. I share. Because nowhere in the world, nobody can tell you. And nobody can answer that question. I answer. Yes. But on your question, actually, I was saying this. If you are really interested, I give you the 5 examples, you go and search first. Search and so I cannot find. Don't need Chinese, this one, right now. I'm writing English calendar also. Don't need Chinese one. Yes. And this one, you can go to Google, you can go to YouTube, you can go to Wikipedia, All got one. Chinese Wikipedia also got. So you cannot find the easy way out 啦。学问是学才能问，求学问是研究出来的。求学问不是吹个口气就有，要去研究，要查要研究，查了自己认为说啊，这本书这样讲不合理，这本书这样讲不合理，这本书这样，那基本看起来哪一个比较合理呢 ？Somebody must tell you a way that you think you convince you, then you adopt. Then you say, hey, master, I read this book like this, like that, like this. I think this one is more correct. Then you must give me your reasoning, why it's more correct. Yes, 因为你讲的立春是24气的一个气，明白吗？中国现在过年没有过年了，现在是春节啊 ，you know？ Why didn't they say 过年 ？Ask Chinese why Hong Kong don't have 过年 already.
So that means the new year is not really the new year.
家庭主妇不懂得在用，懂得不用了。你要知道它是学问嘛，可以。我们 we create a WhatsApp group in our chit chat club, and then from chit chat club everybody share.
Great.
And now everybody learn together. Not only one to one 是要举止式的，大家在 chat group 里面在交通交流，大家 everybody have their example. I give you the example and share. If you think my example is no good, not meaningful enough, we share lor. Like everybody ask me a question again. Magic square just now somebody asked, I give. Do you know that nobody in the world can give that formula or magic square to a -1 + 1? Yours faithfully, sincerely, only one who knows this.
Right.
I don't hide. Give.
Thank you.
Master Ko, you say you're going to make a new calendar. What's the calendar name, and when you
In
release
the
it?
making, because I told you already, it took me a long time.
Yeah, I know that is very
to
interesting.
think
I
about
mean,
who start the winter solstice, southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere, until the doctor talk about the flu jab. Then
the
it hit me,
northern.
ayo.
So
Then
you're going to release this to the public?
Yeah,
Are
we are doing.
Are you going to release this to the public?
Of course, anything that you research, if it's meaningful to benefit people, you
Yeah,
must
okay, great.
Who want you buy calendar? People don't buy calendar, why you know?
Yeah, I do. I'll buy yours definitely.
$5, $3, $5.
I don't know whatever price you put.
Not worth $1 lah. You know, well, after 50, 60 years effort, no dollar can measure lah. I've been telling my students, I have a lot of students from China here, a lot of students, and everybody want to think about wow, humongous work. Everybody, yeah, good idea lah. Hey, come and join lah. Nobody join. And you know, you look at the internet, now weakest link is my IT area. Yes, my weakest link. I only wish
You get Caroline, she's very good.
she's doing so many jobs, you know.
Yeah, come
You
and work
know how
for
many
you.
jobs she's doing? She's doing 3, 4 jobs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can afford to pay. If I can afford to cheat like other Muslim master, I will be a very rich man. You know how much you all pay for the class?
Yeah.
How much you pay? For $30,000, I went for a session, I won't teach. You all pay how much? 300 session.
Thank
How many
you.
people enroll their name? What you have learned for the 2 Saturdays is more than what you learn from other people for 2 years.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, go and compare.
I find your teaching very unusual and very interesting.
Yeah, unorthodox.
Yes, very good. You go against the regular,
norm.
the norm. Probably you are right all along, just that you always want to prove.
I am right.
Yes, that's why you need you having proof.
No, I know I'm right. You know,
Okay.
if we can teach in Tsinghua and we can teach in Jiao Tong University, the Chinese are no idiot to let you teach and write syllabus for them. You know that?
Where can we find out the cost for your other other?
Now my age, I got to ask upstairs. You know, at my age, I also don't know how long I'm going to be able to be around.
Your with your passion, you will keep
Courses,
going.
2 weekend courses already very, very jalat lah. If it
Oh.
is
So you won't be holding these
just go to
courses,
2 hours, tough.
You won't be holding these courses,
No,
Oh,
answer. Yes.
oh, yes or no? No.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you won't be teaching anymore.
I don't know. This one, it's not my call.
Oh,
First,
okay.
God's wish. 2, you help on to conduct. Okay.
Hmm.
3, there must be enough students. Yes.
Okay.
And depends also other people, because so many other because to do this, to do a PowerPoint, it also take a lot of time. This is a new one. If you say you want to do the Tsinghua course, I got ready. You want to the PEM course, I'm ready. The PowerPoint already done. This is the first time I do a 2-weekend course. So the
Oh.
PowerPoint is reinvent.
I see.
So very
You did-
jalan lah. For
Right, look, you did.
$100. I mean, not for money. For money, I wouldn't do lah.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't do for 300.
Your passion,
Yeah.
So we're lucky, have you teach us this environnology?
Well, I hope I can continue to do the 3 stages. At least allow you people to be
continue the
I
course.
hope people will go out and practice the rightful, the correct one, the correct feng shui lah. Not bullshit around lah. That's unfair. Not unfair to the general public. You collect money, you must deliver lah. You're energizing anywhere in the world. Anybody doing this? Answer me.
Okay.
Anybody doing that? No, right?
Courses?
Yes.
God, they have lah, but I don't know. No affinity to join them.
Well,
Okay. Yeah.
okay lah. Let's see. We have a chance to join the chat group. We then meet again and
Okay.
chat lah.
Okay, can. Okay, one final question, Master Ko. You know the golden rule of proportion,
Yeah.
they got numbers there like 55, 34. That one is a unit in what unit?
No, it's a
is that?
unit. It's a unit of 55 against 89. That is the proportion. The proportion. If
Oh,
you 55 to 110, then 89 you also must proportionally add up. It's unit.
Or it's not like inches or cm or no? It's
Not
just a unit
all
only,
inches,
and it must base on the
on that
89,
quantum, on that quantum, yes.
on the 89. So whatever you do, it must fall between this 89, is it?
Correct. Therefore, that side there's a formula there. You know,
Oh,
with
okay.
the square root of 5 divided by 2. Remember, I give you the formula. You must use the formula.
I see. Because
so-
very interesting this one, because if you build a house, you base on this, you see, is
Yeah,
interesting.
now in PEM, a lot of my students can already. They know already.
Ah,
No, I'm not alone. A lot. Those are like now you attended the class. You know what? You got a formula already. You can apply.
okay.
Huh?
Right. I have to re-watch your video.
Rewatch many times and make
Yes.
sure you assimilate and you digest everything.
Yes. Okay, Ken. Thank you so much, Master Ko.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, once and again, thank you very much for our colleagues here who joined us, and we shall continue to stay in touch
All right.
in the web WhatsApp space that we have created. Wish you very well. We are definitely very happy that we get to meet up at last for this class. Thank you once again to Professor Master David Koh and everyone here. We wish you well, and please continue to stay in touch. Take care, everybody. See you.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care, Master Ko.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Group photo. Anybody want to take a photograph together? Everybody.